Switch. No, that is. Why isn't my one live? Okay. Let's see how this is. Oh, hi, Derek Page. You jumped in straight away there. So, this week on the Grey Lanterns, um, if somebody with a little bit more coherency wouldn't mind doing a catch up of what happened last week, because I prefer it.
Colin, do you want it, or should I?
By all means, go ahead. I'm just trying to remember what we actually did.
So the two main things that occurred in the last session, the first one was that we went to Varb's scrapyard to recover the cortex that had been, which had caused the Junker Hulk to manifest. And we took that to the Fraternal Order of Wizardry, or as I like to call them, the Arcane Heretics. And they gave us an appraisal of what it was. They told us what had caused it to manifest the way it did, and then they offered us a lot of money for it. And then we tried to haggle over the amount of money.
And by haggle, I mean you got greedy.
Yeah, and then they agreed finally to gift us the next Warjack Cortex that they built instead. Yep. We're like, hey, yeah, we get a Warjack Cortex, but we don't actually have a Warjack into which the Cortex could go. But, you know, whatever. And we're getting that within 3 days and a week. And then we went back to Vab's scrapyard and to discover that there were the place was full of mechanothralls and a brute thrall, and that Vab's surviving brother was pinned to a wall with a message, basically telling us that no one associated with the Grey Lanterns was safe.
Oh yeah.
So we packed Vab up into a cart and we went to check on some of our other associates, or one associate in particular, which was young Sam, who we'd saved from rats. I'm going to about a week ago in game terms.
Yes, yeah, he's been living with Morrow and priests since then, much to your annoyance.
It was my chagrin. And they told us that there had been an attack on their chapel by
the undead
mechanothralls, and they beaten them back. They'd stopped them, but that there was an agent of the Morrowind Inquisition, which is what it is, and I'm not going to call it anything else, who was coming to make sure that all of the heretics were dead, and she wanted to speak to us about the various encounters with Crix that we'd had over the last, I'm going to say, 3 weeks of our time in Five Fingers, and we said yes. Well, we you know, these are the encounters that we have. This is what we know. There's another member of my company who wants to speak to you outside, and the Inquisitor decided that she would go outside, and she thought it was a little bit weird that she was being asked to go outside and she couldn't speak to this fellow inside the chapel. And then Baron Fitzlale said, "Oh yes, I wouldn't go into the chapel because I didn't want to defile it," and then revealed that he had a mechanothrall fist wrapped up in a bit of cloth to show this Inquisitor, and then incongruously asked her out on a date, except not to date, a conversation about out to dinner to have a conversation about Crixie and things. Yeah, that's. Oh, there was one other thing, which was that a group of people tried to collect on a bounty as we were crossing a bridge, and Adele challenged their leader to a duel and won, and then our resident Trollkin sniper scout decided to ask her to dinner too. So
Yeah,
everyone's pairing off.
yeah, it became quite the dating sim for a little bit.
Yeah.
We've had a request in chat for you to introduce your characters. So if you wouldn't mind going first, David, that would be much. I'd be much obliged.
Captain Konstantin Karasimov, lately of the Winter Guard Command, currently of owner and chief operating officer of the Grey Lanterns, a Cadoran, Old Faith Menite, aristocrat slash military officer who has a gun that is of questionable origin that he likes to fire a lot.
Yep, it has kind of like a skull face on the front of the barrel, so like bullets pass out of its mouth, and he doesn't want to let it out of his sight or not be not be holding it or have it in his holster. And then we have Adele.
So I play Adele, and Adele is a man of culture, formerly of Lale, formerly of the rank of Baron or Count. He doesn't really remember, and he allows Constantine to introduce him as Baron or Count Fitzlale, depending on the day. He is a young man, an incredible curiosity for things religious and arcane, and he has a type. And that type is ladies who can and certainly will kill him as soon as they find out what he is. Um, and as long as they're young and pretty, he's a moth drawn to the flame.
It should be pointed out at this point that he is a necromancer in a world where necromancy is a crime and he could be executed just for existing. So he keeps that on the down low.
Adele doesn't know what you're talking about. He
I do.
simply is expressing his faith, and it's just a shame that everybody can't simply live and get along, or in this case, die and be a soul for him to chat to.
Yep.
He has a soul living in his head at the moment, doesn't he?
Yes, he has the soul of a Crixian war witch in his head, who occasionally talks to him, and
And he's totally not trying to seduce her.
yeah, you're trying to seduce a soul inside your own head. Uh,
We all have hobbies.
yeah. Also in the campaign, but not appearing tonight because of reasons, we have a ex Crixian bounty hunter slash cutthroat. We have a Trollkin Scout Express team member, and we also have a pirate storm sorcerer pirate, and I have a GM character of a Trollkin career warrior, just to give the party a bit more beef in situations like tonight where only a couple of people turn up. So that's where we are, and where we start off. I leave up to you guys. Where are you, and what do you want to be doing straight away?
Well, after you, David. You go first.
I was going to say, Constantine does have, I believe, a little bit of money knocking around his pocket, and it's burning a hole. So I would like at some point to just go and check how much money he actually does have. Yes, he has plenty. Okay, he'd like to go gun shopping at some point.
Yeah, did you know that you are 8 days off of getting your stipend?
Oh, that's fun. That's yeah, 8 days after playing for 4 months.
Well, I can't help how fast you guys use your days.
That's fair enough.
Like, if you guys spend 4 hours of real life time role playing 10 minutes, I can't help that.
But yeah, so I would like to sell a gun and buy a gun.
Yep, sure. That is absolutely fine. Where would you like to go to do that? You're currently on Hospice Island, I believe. So
Is
did you?
there a I mean, is there a gun shop closer than the well-oiled
Oh God,
Holster?
yes. There'd
Yeah.
be gun shops on uh, on Hospice Island, or at least people that sell guns. So you know.
Cool. And also Canon of the True Law, if I can find it.
Okay, so we will see about that.
I'm guessing that's more difficult to
Uh,
find.
it would be extremely difficult on Hospice Island, I should imagine.
Apart from that, want to crack heads?
Yeah, I figured you would. So, looking around Hospice Island. Oh, what time of day is it now?
Evening?
Yes. No, well, no, not quite actually, because um, Adele was to be meeting uh, that Order of Illumination member in the evening. So, I'd say it's afternoon at the minute. So the shops will still be open.
I got the impression from the way the sun was the last time and the long shadows and the way the church was describing that it was late afternoon, early evening, and Adele's date is at 8.
Yep, that sounds fine to me. As long as the shop is still open, so he can get what he needs.
I
So
mean,
you,
if the shop's closed, shop's closed.
no,
Doesn't
it's
bother
fine,
me.
mate. It's fine. So the most logical place for you to go would be the main market on Hospice Island because that would be a place where your character would assume would be a good place to start looking.
Okay.
So just
What can we see?
so the main marketplace. I'm just getting to its name. So I'm just getting to its name. I think it's in. Yeah, so Cheesesteak Central Market on Hospice Island. Um, it's even this late in the evening. It's quite a bustling thoroughfare of various stalls and shop fronts. Um, General populace are wandering around, making sales. Some people are closing up stalls. Others are opening. Five Fingers being one of those cities that never really close properly. Make detection rolls, please. Oh, holy shit, 20. Okay, so you overhear hushed tones, people talking about Gallows Tom.
Gallows Tom.
Yeah. You hear notes of fear and dread in their voice, but you don't overhear much beyond the name, as you weren't actively trying to overhear people.
Who might have more information about Gallows Tom? And is this one conversation going on, or several conversations that we've overheard?
One conversation that you've overheard, and you don't know.
Right. Okay. Okay. So could just go up to these people and say, "Is there a problem here?"
Yeah, is that what you're actually doing, or are you just saying that that's what you
Oh,
would do?
well, see what Adele thinks.
Is Adele going with his captain, and are the others tagging along as we head back towards base,
It's
or what are we doing?
you're in Hospice Island Market, mate.
Okay. Well, Adele doesn't really want to be left alone since he's got a price on his head, so he's going to tag along with Constantine.
Okay,
Okay.
fantastic.
So I kind of lean into Adele and say, "Should we follow that up?"
That depends on whether or not you wish to visit the shops before they close. We could be led down all manner of warrants, Captain. Or we could simply ask.
Okay, let's ask. Uh, Sorry to butt in, and terribly sorry for overhearing your conversation, but I couldn't help but hear you mentioning someone called Gallows Tom.
The man turns around. He's shabbily dressed, kind of regular townfolk looking man, um, spotty and scarred complexion. He looks you up and down and notices the relative finery of your apparel comparative to his own, and he tugs his forelock, as it were, and says, "Oh, don't mind me, my lord. Just idle talk."
You see, the problem is that we've just come from somewhere run by a Tom, so it might be in our interest to find out who Gallows Tom is. Um, might I might I oil the gears of your brain a little? I'm going to take a silver coin out of my pocket and just wave it under his nose.
Oh. He kind of reaches his hand towards you.
I take the coin away. Keep it on display, but just take it out of reach from him.
Okay. He says, "Well, you see, there's been killings going on all about the island. Um, People have come to call him Gallows Tom because he strings up his victims. See
Why Tom?
what? Why anything?
Okay. And where have these frightful occurrences been taking place?
Just here on hospice. Um, there was 3 in one night last week here in the square.
3 murders in the square where people were hanged. Because they're people, not things, they get hanged.
If I may interject, do you know if the unfortunate victims were killed by hanging, or if they were killed and then hung up?
I don't know. No, sorry. All I know is that come the morning, people noticed that they were swinging from the lampposts over there in that corner, and well, it's not the first time people have found people strung up. We, People come to talk of Gallows Tom and how he'll get you if he catches you out at night.
And who dealt with these hangings?
Well, what do you mean by dealt with?
Well, someone came and unhanged them, I assume.
Local watch did eventually.
Right. No one else took any particular notice to them until
Well,
the watch.
people look, but people are afeard to touch them. See,
Okay.
don't want
Is
you
to
to
say
be.
another.
Well, what if the madman that did it is watching, and you touch him, ruin his display, and then you're next? No, sir, I wouldn't go near him.
Is this
Well,
say another trip to the morgue? I sense, Captain.
I think we probably do have to go and see the watch at some point, but we should probably thank this man for his candor. And then I kind of hand him the silver coin.
Are you sure, sir?
We're here to help. We're always here to help. However, that
Captain, we should probably say who we are.
go ahead.
Yes, I suppose that is my job, isn't it? Well, we are of the Grey Lanterns.
Grey Lanterns? What you
You may
some?
have heard of us from having slain the Hull Grinder, which was troubling these waters, and a few other little things.
No, I can't say I've heard of you. No.
Well, all the more reason to investigate these murders then.
Okay. Thank you for your help and stay safe, okay?
Well, thank you kindly, good sir. Are you sure I'm allowed to have this?
It's from my pocket to yours.
Well, I don't want no one calling me a thief 2 minutes later and then I get strung up.
My name is Konstantin
On
Karasimov.
account of you being a, a fancy man, sir.
Oh, very well. Here, give it to me. And Adele fishes out coppers to exchange the silver piece for.
He looks mightily relieved and grateful to have the copper coins instead of the silver coin.
That would never have occurred to me. On your way, sir.
Thank you kindly, sir. Thank you kindly. And he's like bowing and steeping as he walks backwards away from you.
And Adele says, or comments in Lealese, you know, it's nice to finally have people respect you for the position you hold.
I mean, it is nice, but at the same time, it isn't always needed, and sometimes discretion has its place.
Indeed.
Right. Shall we see if these shops are still open?
And they are.
Huzzah!
With only a small amount of looking, you find someone selling guns.
What type of chap does he look like?
Common folk.
Does he look trustworthy?
You are the better judge of that than me. Make a detection roll.
Okay. So.
Bear in mind this is Constantine, so he's probably not going to look trustworthy. Because he's not wearing Mennonite clergy robes.
I was going to say, Constantine trusts anyone who isn't wearing an icon of another religion.
Pretty much. You think he's just common folk.
Okay.
So that might mean he's trustworthy. That might mean you don't trust him.
Well, okay. Hail and well met, sir. I see you sell firearms in your establishment. Might I suggest, and I'll pull one of the single shot pistols from my gun brace and put it on the counter and say, how much would this be worth?
He looks it over. Bear with me. He goes, well, I'll take it you're selling, then, yeah?
Selling and buying?
I'll give you 3 gold for it.
What if I was to buy a repeating pistol at the same time?
You can have the repeating pistol for 30 gold.
27 and you've got yourself a deal.
I need a negotiation roll, then, sir.
Can I assist with the negotiation?
Did you talk at any point?
Adele has taken to staying silent unless asked to speak.
Then no. He says, no, sorry. I've got a business to run. 30.
Fair enough. 30 it is. I'll take a repeating pistol
Okay.
with all that's needed to make it function,
Yep.
except ammunition.
Yep. So it comes with one ammo wheel already pre-installed. Okay.
And that's the 30 from my purse gone. Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. Pleasure doing business with you. I just want to see if I notice any kind of accent on him other than Ordic. So I'm just going to do a detection roll when he replies.
You think he was? He sounds very Five Fingers.
Okay, excellent. Brilliant. That's all I needed. And as I put the gold across the counter, thank him for his business, and then look to Adele and say, "Do you need anything?"
No, I don't believe so. I believe I have everything that I require for the time being. Let me have a think on that, sir. And Adele begins to mentally check over his inventory. Rat walking stick, stone dagger, gift from Constantine in the form of another walking stick with a sword in it. His two pistols. His spade. I'm not actually looking at my inventory. I probably should. His weighted cloak, his buckler, garrote, scholar's tools, potion satchel, druid scroll. And so Adele makes a point of kind of going through his pockets and things, and then looks up and shrugs and says, "No, I believe that's everything."
Did you actually just do a pat down inventory of yourself?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. Just as we're about to leave, I'll turn back to the guy at the counter and say, "Do you suppose you know of anywhere here that might sell religious books? Do you?"
Just 1 second, sorry. 12. Character sheet. Right, can you make a detection roll for me, please, Adele?
Did that go through?
Yeah. So as you're patting yourself down, you notice your coin purse is missing.
Adele sighs.
Which brigand did that, do you think? Obviously, I don't know yet. I don't know if this happened yet. What's wrong, Adele?
Adele says in Laelies,
Well,
"You know,
it's more than that. You feel it being taken from you as you're
right now."
basically as you're putting all of your worldly goods on display by patting yourself down and taking inventory. You attracted attention of a pickpocket, and you noticed him as he tried to pick your pocket.
Can I grapple him?
Agility roll. Okay, yes. So you successfully grapple the pickpocket.
Can I put him in a chokehold?
Yep. Strength roll. And he'll make a strength roll to resist you. Okay, so he resists the chokehold and breaks free of you. He looks somewhat flustered and embarrassed, and attempts to run away.
Adele says, "Hold thief, or it's your life."
Intimidation roll, please.
I'm gonna boost this, so just 1 second.
Okay.
I haven't boosted it yet, so
The man is frozen on the spot.
there we go.
Yeah. Okay. So the man is frozen on the spot and looks at you and says, I'm sorry, my lord. It's just it was too tempting. Your your coin purse sat there all unattended and plump like.
It was not unattended. Bring it here right now.
He hands it back to you.
And Adele looks the man up and down, very much aware that Constantine is there, and says, "Do you not have decent work?"
I've work enough.
Then why did you feel the need to take what was not yours?
Well, couple of seconds work for a big pay. Who can turn
Yes,
that
and
down?
what if it had cost you your hand?
Usually doesn't.
Indeed. So, Captain, what is the law in these parts for theft?
In these parts for theft, well, I don't know what the law is in Ord. Hold on. I'm
Just
going to do
roll.
a
Just
law.
roll law.
I'm going to do a law. Which is my favourite thing to roll.
Yep. One second. Which page had the crime sheets on it? I forget. Was it
It's
the
in,
Urban
I think it's in
Adventures?
Five Fingers book.
There's multiple
I'm finding
versions.
myself now. Well, the Urban Adventures that's the one, isn't it?
I don't know. Because I know there's one where it says not a crime, you know, all that. Maybe it's in Kingdoms, Nations and Gods.
Sorry, I probably shouldn't have asked, since now you're digging through 3 books.
It's fine, don't worry about it. I could just be a good GM and actually know everything off by heart.
What, you mean a machine rather than a human being?
I'm usually pretty good at this kind of thing.
I've just done a find on page search in the Five Fingers book for crime, and there are 41 occurrences of the word crime in the Five Fingers book.
Not surprised.
Could you try one for theft?
So, Ord, theft, light flogging is the penalty.
Okay, there you go then.
Burglary would be flogging.
So light.
Major theft would be heavy flogging.
So light flogging.
Light flogging for theft. So there you go. I'll turn to Adele and say, I believe the penalty is a light flogging.
Well, that doesn't seem to be any kind of deterrent at all, sir. Alright, you, whatever your name is, I have a proposition for you. I am currently in the market for some information regarding a certain individual named Gallows Tom. Tell me what you know of him, and this matter will rest and not go any further. Does that sound acceptable to you?
Well, yes, sir. Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, okay. No worries. I can tell you everything I know about Gallows Tom. Then you promise you'll let me go, right?
I am a gentleman.
So I have your word?
Providing you don't attempt to pursue further indignities upon my person or my effects, then yes.
Oh, certainly wouldn't on somebody so quick-witted. Oh, thanks, Derek Page. I thought it might be. He said it was in Kingdoms, Nations, and Gods as well. So, Gallows Tom, I hear rumours, he hangs people. But he doesn't just hang anyone, see? He hangs the unfortunates, the poor, those without shelter or home. Strings them up from lampposts, he does.
He
Do
specifically.
these...
Sorry, go
You
ahead.
first, David.
He specifically targets the unfortunate, you say?
Well, he ain't killed nobody other than them.
What about
Whether
the
that's
young?
sorry?
The young. There are orphans around here who are children, are there not?
I've not heard word of him ever stringing up a young'un. Mainly adults, ladies of the night, homeless people, anyone who would be out at night and not have a place to lay their head, if you gather my meaning. He's been operating around here for years, some say. Sometimes there'll be months at a time with no killings. Sometimes there'll be 3 killings in one night, like last week.
3 in
And
1 month.
you call these perpetrators or person Gallows Tom as opposed to Tom the Stringer?
Well, I didn't name him, sir. The street named him.
Finally, a question. Do you know if the unfortunates are slain before or prior to hanging?
I've got no idea, mate.
Interesting.
Now can I go?
I wonder if this...
It wouldn't
Yes,
be...
yes. Go. And try not to... how do you put it, sir? Sin again?
Indeed.
He runs off. Thanks, Derek Page. I appreciate your help.
Adele turns to Constantine and says, in Laelese, I know this may be a little morbid, but I wonder if he uses a proper knot, or if it's, well, a long suffocation, or if he kills them before. Or she, although I wonder if it might be some sort of sailor.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that would be the type of knot that we'd need to. That would be a good indication of whether or not it was a sailor if we were able to find the type of knot that was used. I imagine the only people who would have taken any notice of the type of knot used would be the watch.
Well, sir, we know how inefficient the watch can be, depending on which island you're on.
Yeah. Well, I think we have to go to the watch.
Yes, I agree. Also, it did occur to me something I am looking for. Maybe some plaques of wood.
Some planks of wood.
No, plaques, in order to put on display some of the curios we've recovered from the various people. I was thinking that perhaps having a room where we could show potential clientele of ours who are wishing to engage our services might be a little more impressed with trophies, as vulgar as it may seem.
That is not a terrible idea. However, the best place for buying wood might well have been South Shore. You feel free to make inquiries, though. We can find an appropriate lumber merchant.
I mean, make general intelligence rolls.
General intelligence.
1 sec.
Buying wood from South Shore would just get you a tree, well, basically a huge log. It's unrefined and unprocessed. The best place for that type of thing, as it sounds a bit more upmarket and high end, would be Captain's Island or perhaps Chaser or Bellicose Island.
Certainly, once we get back to.
So maybe somewhere like somewhere that sells to the rich, maybe trophy hunting kind of store, that kind of place.
Sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Adele carefully puts everything back, and then then he looks at the captain and says, "After you, sir."
Do we know the way?
The way to what?
To the bookstore. I am unaware of any books around this part of town.
Um, did the did I ask the shopkeep if there was a
You
religious
didn't,
bookstore?
but if you did, he would have told you that there are no bookstores on Hospice Island.
Perhaps that will have to wait for another day. Shopkeep, where is the watch?
It's right over there. And he points to the opposite corner to where you were earlier told that 3 people were strung up last week.
Okay. Thank you very much for your help, sir. Pleasure doing business with you.
Have a good day.
Out of character, where is Lady Gravine's warehouse hideaway?
Near the Chapel District, so on a completely different island.
Yeah, I figured it was. Do you remember which island it was? Adele would have written it down, but I'm not Adele.
Um, yes, but I have currently got something in my hand that I can't let go.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just wondering if there are any bookstores on that same island because
Most
we're heading
likely,
in that.
yes.
Okay,
But they'll probably be closed by the time you're going there in the evening.
yes. Okay, on to the watch.
Okay, so this is the most shabby and rundown watch house you guys have visited on Five Fingers.
Adele looks at the door frame, looks back at his gloved fist, looks at the door frame, and then hesitates, and then wonders where Balazar is, and then
Balthazar
he
stood behind you.
just comments, maybe you should stand out here and keep an eye and something. I don't know. And then he just kind of tries to nudge the door open with his foot.
Okay.
He's got a stick for door opening.
He does.
He's got a rat stick.
Yes. All right. He uses the rat stick to push the door open.
Okay, so walk in and have a look. I'm going to roll detection. I want to assess the cognitive function of the desk sergeant.
Okay.
Because we've had issues with that before.
Mm-hmm. So, looking at the man, you see somebody dressed in very poor quality, rundown looking watch armor. Looks like it was either originally not his size or has been repaired many times. Perhaps many owners. He is sitting with a bottle on the desk in front of him. He has several days' worth of stubble and dark rings under his eyes.
Adele is going to bang his rat stick on the ground as if he's a master of ceremonies. And that was my son banging on the table right on cue.
Good lad.
Yes. And Adele says, announcing his, sorry, out of character. What rank is Constantine? That he's told Adele.
Well, he said nobility. It would be His Royal Highness because he's the son of a great prince. But he
Adele
hasn't
doesn't know that.
Yeah,
So.
no, Adele. So it probably. I'm trying to have a look at the.
We'll just go with Excellency for now.
Okay.
Announcing His Excellency, Captain Kurozanov.
The watchman snaps to some modicum of attention sat at his desk and quickly puts the bottle in a drawer and says, "Can I help?" What's going on? What's going on here?
Hail and well met, good fellow. We hear that there has been some unpleasantness in the local area with regards people being strung up against their will.
Oh, when hasn't there been? But I take it you're referring to our local celebrity.
The infamous
He nods.
Gallows Tom.
He nods and says, "Yeah, Gallows Tom. Never leaves a sign. Never anywhere somebody is. Never where we're patrolling. Only one person has ever claimed to seen him.
And who was that, pray tell?
Well, it was a fishwife. She was taking her husband's catch to market, and she said she saw somebody stringing somebody up and running off down an alley."
And how long ago was this? In fact, are you in charge of this particular division?
Who's asking?
I am asking on behalf of His Excellency, Captain Rosamund of the Grey Lanterns.
What, he not got his own tongue?
I do. I've just
Adele
been talking
fixes
to you.
him a very grim look.
Look, I know you think you're some fancy boys coming down here trying to, you know, win your glory or something for your daddies, but we have to deal with this shit every fucking day.
Yes, and we are here to relieve you of some of the burden of that.
Yeah. Is that
Have you heard tell? Have you heard tell of the missing uh, longshoreman on Captain's Island?
Oh, I had heard about that, yeah.
Well, we were the people who solved that.
You were?
Yes.
We also put to bed a certain hole grinder terrorizing the waters yonder.
Oh, I'd heard about that one as well. Said there was quite a bounty on that one. You must be rich men.
Regardless, we're here to help. Can we?
Well, some extra funds for the watch house wouldn't go amiss. And I could hire more watchmen, keep the streets safer.
Yes, I think you simultaneously overestimate our ability to provide and underestimate your ability to persuade us to provide those particular funds. We want to help you solve this case.
Okay. Well, the woman that I spoke to that said that she saw him. I can tell you what her account. I've got it written down over here. And he gestures towards a cupboard. Yeah, it's where I keep all the reports. I mean, I've lost count of the amount of people that Gallows Tom's put in the river since he started killing people 12 years ago.
Well, I did have some questions about that. Do you know if the unfortunates were slain before or after being strung up? And if so, what sort of knot was used?
Well, it looked to me to be well, not looked to be. I know it is. It's a hangman's noose. And they
Yes, but was it a slow hanging or a quick drop?
slow hanging. It looks like they were hoisted up there while they were struggling, or not. I don't know. But they didn't have, most of them didn't have their neck snapped. If that's what you're asking.
So we're dealing with a sadist here.
Well, I don't know what a sadist is.
Someone who enjoys inflicting pain on others for their own pleasure.
Oh, that's most people in this city then.
Well, I didn't think we were talking politics, my good man.
Well, I don't
And
know.
Adele chuckles lightly.
I don't know much about no politics. I try and keep my bedding clean.
Indeed.
Yes. Anyway, back to the matter at hand.
So what else can I tell you that might help you? Because I'll be honest with you, we've got bugger all to go on. He points to a map on the wall with
Where,
various pins in it, and he says,
where was go
he goes, these are the places that bodies have been found. I see no discernible. I see no. We've found no pattern, no common places. The only thing that they all have in common is that they were all from Hospice Island, and they were all poor.
What about the sort of rope used?
Well, that's the same every time. By the way, Derek Page in chat says they would be able to tell if he's right or left-handed, depending on how the rope was tied. He says they're all hung up by a noose with braided twine, and always hanging off lamps or signposts.
And what about the... Sorry, you go first, David.
Is there anything in common of the type of lamppost or sign that they're hanged from?
Not that I know of, no.
Have you taken the rope to any local rope makers to see if they can identify if it's theirs or not?
No.
That might be a place to start. If we could figure out where it came from, then perhaps we could identify who might buy it and go from there.
Well, I have the rope from the last killings.
When was the last killings?
Last week.
Last week. And what happened to the bodies?
Oh, they'd probably be in the river by now.
Right, okay. So the last killings were a week ago. Is there any pattern to the killings in terms of time? Do they all happen at regular intervals? Is there a rash of them and then a gap, or is it completely at random?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes there's months go by with nothing, and then 1 week 3 killings like we had last week, and then might be 1 the next, might be 10. You don't know. Well, never 10 actually. Sorry, it's an exaggeration on my part.
Dell turns to the captain and says in Laolese, we may be dealing with an opportunist, or perhaps there's another motive at work. What if the bodies were needed for something, knowing that they would be floated down the river and they could be collected at some point?
Yes, that is a worrying thought.
Just a thought which crossed my mind.
Well, it sounds like there's easier ways to get bodies than.
Oh, he speaks Laolese.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you were speaking Laolese. No, he does not speak Laolese.
So Constantine's just going to mutter something in Cadoran under his breath that no one will understand, as a kind of in the hopes that that someone will react to that, just to see if he knows Cadoran.
Now, you're a Cadoran, are you? What are you doing down here?
That is a long, long story. That's Ordek. What you say? The last murders were a couple of nights ago. They sometimes happen in bursts. There's been a burst this week. The killer might very well be an opportunist, and there's no other help that you can offer us at this stage.
Well, we've because it's been going on for so long, we've kind of got to the point where, unless we happen to catch him in the act, there's not really much we can do. Except,
Yes, I understand.
except try and encourage people to walk in pairs or, you know, not walk at night. But trying to tell people in Five Fingers not to go out at night is like trying to tell a dog not to eat a sausage.
Yes, quite. Okay.
So, have there been any sort of groups around here, cults, who believe in, how can I put this? This is not my view, you understand, but cleaning up the city, purging it of the undesirables, the riffraffs, the unfortunates.
I don't know about cults doing that, but you know, the city's got no shortage of various gangs and groups, and we hear talk of cults, but you know, nobody's got anything solid to go on.
And all of these killings have apparently been orchestrated by one particular individual rather than, a few people working together. So they've all happened with a few killings or one killing at a certain location each night rather than multiple locations each night.
Well, there's never been multiple locations in one night, no. But just GMO. No luck catching them killers, then.
Or killer or killers.
It's
We're
just the
not sure
one.
whether it's.
It's just the one killer, actually.
So the fishwife that saw the individual running away, was she able to determine whether it was a man or a woman? Were there any boot prints left? Anything
No,
like
because it
that?
was cobble. But she did say that they were wearing a very fine-looking overcoat, and he looks noticeably rattled and scared, and looks around as he says this. She's.
Adele
I don't.
sighs.
I don't know how trustworthy she can be, sir. She said he was wearing a mask. That the face on the mask moved. I don't know how well she can be trusted.
Mask and the face on the mask.
That's what she said.
Interesting. Right. Where is this particular fishwife? Where might we find her?
Oh, well, I've got her address here, in fact, just in case we ever needed to speak to her again. She lives on Grey Lime Street.
Excellent.
And if I were a betting man, Captain, I would wager that she'd be dead.
Yes, that was my thoughts also. Those were my thoughts also.
What,
Right.
Mrs. Loverkin's dead? I don't know about that, mate.
Well, we'll we'll see, shall we? We're going to go and speak to her now. If we return within an hour with news that she's dead, don't say we didn't warn you.
I I wouldn't. I wouldn't dream of it.
If you wish to come along with us to verify the fact that we didn't kill her, that would be fine.
Why would you want to kill her?
We have no reason to kill her,
So
but
why did you bring it up?
we want to be above
Well,
suspicion.
have you not noticed our garments?
Your garments.
Yes, we are both wearing rather fine overcoats, say.
Shit, yeah, you do, don't you? Have you got masks?
No, of course we don't have masks.
Well, you certainly would say that if you did.
We probably also wouldn't draw attention to the fact that we were wearing fancy clothes either.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that wouldn't be very smart of you, would it?
So let me ask you a question. Why on earth would we want to be helping the people of Five Rivers by cleaning up the disappearances and hunting hole grinders and trying to make the world a slightly better place if we were stringing up the very people we were trying to help?
He pauses for a second with his finger in his mouth, and he goes, "Money? You could set up a crime, and then solve your own crime, and get paid to do it."
Oh, fantastic! That's a marvelous idea. And tell me, how much is the watch offering for evidence of the capture of this particular individual?
Oh, round it to nothing, mate.
Exactly. And tell me, wouldn't we have to find a fool guy and convince him to actually play the part, knowing that he's going to be hanged or worse, just so we could get paid nothing?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's your crazy
Yes,
scheme, not
exactly.
mine.
No, no, it's your crazy scheme, my good sir. And frankly, I'm insulted that you would even suggest it.
Oh, okay then.
Okay. Right, let's go and speak to this woman, and then I might have a couple of ideas about how we solve this particular crime.
Yes, and why don't we take the rope along too, since you have a piece of that.
You can have one of them. The other two stay here, but they're all the same. So you know.
Excellent.
Can I do a? I don't know what it would be. There's not rope work, is it?
What are you trying to ascertain?
If the guy's left-handed or right-handed.
You wouldn't know that unless
Right.
you've got rope use.
Yeah. Okay. Which I
I'm sure we
don't.
could show it to Mercer later.
If you had rope use, you would definitely be able to. You'd have the and you rolled well. You'd be able to go. I reckon the person that rolled this was X. You know,
Yeah.
that is a really good idea from
Yeah, I
character
was
page.
really impressed. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Surprised by that. Right. Okay. So, thank you for your time, Mr.
Oh, I never said.
Yes, that's why I'm asking now.
Oh, I'd rather not tell you.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
I'm sorry, an officer of the watch refusing to give his name.
Not refusing, just said I'd rather not. Can't a man
okay.
have his privacy? I haven't
We
asked you
can.
your names.
Well, we told you our names.
Yeah, you chose to. I'm choosing not to. Nobody
You
says I.
realise that is an incredibly suspicious thing to do as a member of the Watch, don't you?
Oh, I don't frankly give a shit. Now, if you don't mind, I've got things to do.
Like what? Carry on with your drinking.
Yes, actually.
Adele takes out a page from his satchel and begins taking notes of the man's general appearance and does a quick sketch. I'm happy to roll for that.
No, you don't need to. You've commonly noted that your character's artistic enough to draw that.
Okay. Shall we go and visit this fishwife?
After you, Captain.
Right. Off we go then. Do, 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 do. Flourish my officer's coat as we leave the watch office. Rest my hand notably on the head cannon.
Okay. Cool.
Adele uses the rat stick to shove the door open and hold it open.
Okay. Cool. Ideal.
Okay. So we're wandering down the road, aiming for this fishwife's home.
Yeah, your knowledge of the city is good enough that you find it with only a cursory walkabout.
Adele turns to Balazar and says, "Would you mind just keeping an eye on any exits that we find, just in case, she how does Murta put it? Does a runner?"
Got you, boss. No worries.
Just abscond without
Appreciated.
warning. Okay, brilliant. So rap on the door when we get there. And, say hello. Not
Couple of
any indication who we are.
couple of seconds later, you hear a bit of a clutter from the inside. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Out of character, I expect to be swarmed by cats.
Hello. Who are you two coming at my door at this time of night?
I'm very pointedly going to say there are three of us, even if you can't see the third.
Okay.
We're here to inquire about the sighting of Gallows Tom you had.
Oh, lords. Terrible affair that was. Put the shivers in me waters.
Can you tell us anything more?
Anything more than what?
We were just down at the watch office, ma'am.
Oh, you were speaking to that drunk, were you?
Yes, does he have a name?
Yes.
Would you happen to know what that name is?
Oh, I know his name, love. I know everyone's name round here. I've been living here for 20 years.
Wonderful. So would you mind sharing what his name was?
What? Why?
Because he was rude enough to decline to offer.
Well, he must have had his reasons.
Because he doesn't like authority, or his
Authority.
how can I put
Authority
this?
based on who?
Adele chuckles quietly and simply says, "Well, let us return to the topic at hand. So
Oh.
you saw Gallows Tom stringing up her unfortunate and fleeing the scene?
Well, I
Of
saw him
course, that's not
finish.
what the account said.
I saw him finish stringing somebody up.
And do you know if the person who was strung up was alive or dead at the time?"
Oh, they were dead by the time whoever checked on them got to him. I
So you
daren't go near. I was afeard for my life. That'll be my
and
shame.
so
That'll be my
so
shame.
you allowed this
That'll be
this
my
poor
shame
individual to.
to my dying day, sir.
Well, what can you tell us about the chap who was running away? Was it a man?
Well, I can't be 100% sure because he was wearing a long coat, fancy coat it was, leather,
What about his boots? Did you see anything about his boots?
very nice boots actually. A lady always notices a man's footwear. See, you can tell a lot about a man by the shoes he wears.
So I've heard.
Very,
So what can you tell us
very
about
expensive
such
boots.
boots?
Kind of like a reddish brown leather.
His feet large? Were they small? Were they?
Well, they were just kind of normal size.
I feared you might say that.
Also, you got to remember I was across the way from him. I'm not really one to be able to judge the size of a man's shoes from across the street at night.
Well, yes, that would be a particularly unique talent.
A question for you. The street lamp, was it on or was it extinguished?
It was on. That's why I saw
And
him at
that's how
all.
you. Yes. Did you catch a glimpse of his hair?
No, he was wearing a mask.
Anything else you can tell us about this?
You ain't gonna believe me.
Well, we've seen some pretty crazy things.
The watchman laughed at me. The mask leered at me.
What color was this mask?
Kind of like a bronzish iron kind of looking thing.
Bronzish iron sort of thing. Hmm.
Adele is going to do a quick drawing of what he remembers from the tri-faced thing
Yep.
That contained Riley and whatever,
Yep.
And also the Mechanica Thrall fist. Just general kind of bits and pieces which look like Crixian technology. And he's going to sketch this out and hold it up to her and say, was it similar in the same style as these?
Oh, looks. Oh, they were horrible. No, it was nothing like that.
Interesting. And would you be able to draw it for us? Do you have any artistic ability?
Uh, Not particularly. I've never had the money for buying such luxuries, but I can give it a go. And
Wonderful.
she
Or
draws
I can try and sketch it as you describe it.
whichever suits your fancy.
Let's see what she draws first.
She draws a crude drawing of a snarling face.
Adele gives it a go, and he starts asking about the various features of the mask.
You essentially get the
If
same.
there's,
You essentially get a slightly better drawn version of the same thing.
mm,
What time of day was it when you were
It was late at night.
late at night and you were taking your husband's catch in? Did you say?
Yes.
Does he fish during the afternoon, or
He fishes any hours of the day.
what kind of fish does he catch?
Ones
You know,
that swim.
shore fish, deep fish, river fish. What sort? How far out does he go?
I don't really see how it's relevant.
Well, if he was, most fishermen would come in the morning.
Would they? I didn't know.
Yes,
I didn't know you knew so much about fish.
I grew up in a port, madam.
Okie dokie. That's two of us then.
Have you heard of Port Bloodfire?
What? No.
Never mind then. Okay.
Sounds Cadoran.
It is Cadoran, and so am I. And I'll say the and so am I bit in Cadoran.
Oh, and she looks a little bit scared.
Okay. And what else is there to say? I suspect, madam, that we are not going to get any further from you, but thank you for your assistance. I'm sure the people who have been victims of this terrible thing will be very pleased to have to know that you've been assisting us in trying to solve this horrible affair.
You're going after him, are you?
Indeed, that's definitely what we're trying to do.
Mm. Good luck to you, sirs. Good luck to you.
if it helps soothe your conscience any, if the information you have provided us brings him down, at least no more will die.
That does comfort me.
And of course, you can always turn to the truth faith for absolution. And Adele chuckles inwardly without elaborating on which of the faiths are true.
Well, I go to church every week.
I feared you'd say church. I say that in Cadoran.
Oh dear. Adele turns and walks back to Balazar.
What?
I think, and I'm going to follow up and
Managed to avoid getting killed by a little old lady then.
you'd be surprised.
Well, you know, it's the little old ladies which tend to have the knives stuck up their sleeves because you're not expecting it.
Oh yeah. What's the move then?
Well, I'm actually feeling a little stumped, if I'm being completely honest. We have rope, we have a description. I suppose we could follow up on the boot, see if there are any cobblers on a island which would make such things.
It
But
strikes me as it strikes me as the thing that we need to do is to set up a sting.
yes, I was afraid you might say that.
So yeah.
I've also been neglecting to ask this question because I am afraid of the connotations, but I wonder if it is simply humans which have been dangling.
Well, yes. I mean that is a question we didn't ask, an assumption that we made possibly in error.
Well, I'm I live on Hospice Island, and I can tell you, it ain't no trollkin getting hung.
Mm.
I'm sorry, did you say you lived here?
I still do.
So, do you know anything about Gallows Top?
Oh, I know what people say. Just you never asked.
Well, you're a man of few words.
Yeah, I keep my thoughts. Keep to my thoughts.
Adele is going to make a point of looking at his pocket watch and looking up at the sky and doing some inward mathematics and trying to calculate how long it would take him to get to his date.
Fair enough. Um, Random question, but sound. What's Derek Page says random question, but what sound did he make when he ran away?
That's a good question.
Hmm. So Balasar looks at you guys and says, uh, "What I've heard amongst the Creoles is that it's humans that are getting strung up, poor and unfortunate ones, and that is the thing that never changes. And the fact that they're made to
Or
suffer means there's hatred there."
I wonder if
a
it's
leering
I
someone
I
who hates
personally don't believe the Lyran mask myself, but
Mm.
well, if he was running away, how did she see that mask?
how indeed. Ramblings of a woman after attention, perhaps.
It is a pity that with the gold we've acquired, we can't set up some sort of oh, what is the place named? I don't know. Let's just say an institution for the destitute.
The institution for the destitute.
Well, it's been a long day, my friend. A very long day. You know,
So,
somewhere we could gather the unfortunates and just house them and, you know,
sounds like a waste of money, mate. But you know,
yes.
whatever
Well, I
you rich.
suppose the impoverished will always be here.
I mean, yeah, you save one impoverished, another one takes their place, surely. And if you're just giving handouts, what's to say that people won't just pretend they're impoverished just to get free stuff?
Yeah, well, I would rather give to people who didn't need than know that people who did need had gone without.
Yeah, but then eventually you'll have nothing left to give. I don't want to see
That
you.
is a risk that we take.
Don't want to see you boys on the street just because you're being too nice to people.
I very much doubt anyone would accuse me of being nice, let alone too nice.
You know, you've been nice to me.
Well, that's different.
I mean, remember, you saved my hide.
Well, of course, you're a comrade and companion. You saved mine.
I wasn't at the time. I've not forgotten.
Well, you know the old saying that strangers can be friends that, oh, I don't remember the rest. Anyway, shall we proceed?
Hello?
Hello? Is it back?
I don't know. I think David's gone.
Okay. I think it died for all of us, so I had silence.
Well, I heard silence because I was being silent, but unfortunately, as a simple GM, I don't have the ability to decide what you guys do.
Yeah,
Sagittarius Hero says you just haven't met yet. I don't know what that means. I don't know what
yeah,
you
that's the
mean.
rest of the phrase, I believe.
Oh, right.
Strangers are just friends you haven't met, but Adele deliberately let that trail off because, you know,
He's being subtle or something? I don't know.
no, he's just had a long day and he's,
Well, at least
yeah.
you were paying attention, Sagittarius Hero. I wasn't. I, I had no idea what saying he was trying to say. So while we wait for our resident Kudoran hero, you
Sorry
are.
about that.
That's all right, mate. These things happen. These things happen.
If it makes you feel better, it happened to me at the same time, so.
So, what are you guys going to do now?
Well, Adele has a date with a very scary lady
I
to
think we have to
keep.
plant Sting. Oh yes, you have a date to keep, don't you?
The thing about Sting is where would you plant it? How long would you wait? Because it has been described that these instances have no pattern or correlation for you to be able to plan around. So
We also need bait.
you could be waiting days, weeks, months. You have no clue.
And while we could waste 6 months and Constantine could get 6 months of stipend, I'm pretty sure our enemies won't let us wait that long.
You don't know.
Yeah, no, it's fair comment.
You don't know what your enemies are doing while you're frittering away your time on waiting in alleyways.
Scheming and growing more powerful,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what villains do.
Yeah, and me as a GM, I certainly do incorporate time into my games. Colin is a player of a previous campaign of mine. I'll just let the audience know where they had a little side quest that they were given in like the first week of playing the game, and they ignored this side quest for about, what was it, like 6 to 8 months of real life time. Colin?
Potentially. I don't actually remember the side quest we're talking about.
It was mapping the woods for the logging company.
Oh, yes, that took a while.
Yeah,
And
so
then
they left.
another company did it.
Yeah, so they left it like 6 to 8 months of real time. So when they finally got around to doing the side quest, they did it, went to try and hand it in and get the reward, only to be told, "Oh, somebody's already done that." We waited ages for you to do it, but you never did. You never did it, so somebody else has done it.
Yeah.
I operate a time world in my game. That's why I keep track of the days.
Yeah.
Other things are happening around the world. All right.
Okay.
Well, Adele is going to make his excuses if necessary, but he's going to head on to the warehouse. He's going to invite one of the company to come along with him because he doesn't feel like walking through the streets by himself.
Who are you inviting?
Constantine or Balasar, whoever.
Okay.
Whoever wants to come along, or both of them can.
I don't think Constantine wants to come along.
No, I didn't think so either, somehow.
Balasar says, I'll watch you back.
Appreciate it.
But I ain't watching you kiss her.
I thought this was strictly professional. Speaking of, Captain, is there anything that you would like me to inquire about?
Well, they want to help us in fighting Cricks, and I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing. But we need to know what resources they have, what intelligence they have, what their particular angle on all of this is. All
And
of
I
that,
suppose who is backing them?
indeed. Where this particular woman happens to be from.
Well, I would ask you for tips as you have a number of years on me, but I suspect that it's better if I simply go in as as myself, as the best part of myself.
Yeah, indeed.
Constantine is not exactly a ladies' man.
Not at all. He spent most of his young life in a monastery.
Adele is mentally crossing off topics which are unsuitable for conversation, starting with rats and ending with religion and politics, and then uncrossing the politics.
Okay. So you heading to the Cathedral District to go find the Order of Illumination's HQ?
That's the one.
Okay.
Adele's not actually going to step inside, he's going to wait outside.
Alrighty. Okay. Nothing happens untoward on your journey.
Cool. Cool beans.
So as you approach the warehouses nearest the chapel, you notice the precursor knight that you spotted at the church the day before. No, earlier that day. Still the same day, isn't it? Stood outside, presumably on watch.
Yeah. Cool.
Did we stop off at the base first before swinging up here? Because if so, Adele would want to wash his face and clean up a little.
You didn't say that you did, but if you wanted to, that would have been very easy to do.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that. Instead, you can leave me at the base to, pray and meditate on things.
Okay. Cool.
After all, I seem to recall that we did loot under Constantine's orders. Adele looted an entire bathroom and wardrobe of the place where Adele gave Jade the finishing blow.
Yes. Yes, you did.
And so I'm assuming there'll be some kind of cologne there. And
Being called. Sorry, I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, no worries.
Carry on.
And being Laelise, Adele knows how to make himself smell nice.
Okay, so you were smarting yourself up a bit. You change into the other clothes?
Yeah, into nice clothes.
Okay, so you change
And
in.
he's going to leave his more suspicious items at home.
Okay, cool. So by that, I assume you mean the Rat Warlock's walking stick?
Yeah, the stone knife and so on are already back at base. But yeah, anything that could get him into trouble with an Inquisitor, aside from his own mouth.
Okay. Alrighty. So you'll have to let me know what you do or don't want to have brought then.
All right, he's going to take his stick with the wolf head and the sword in that Constantine gave him.
So your sword
Pocket
cane.
watch. Yeah, the sword
Yep.
cane. Pocket watch Garrot is going to be on his person, and the dueling buckler and the weighted cloak.
Armor.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
But other than that, oh yes, and his scholar's tools. Other than that, everything is staying at home.
Cool. Fair enough. Sorry.
Um, yeah. And yeah, so Adele is going to see the precursor knight, and he's going to simply tap Balasar on the arm, and then he's going to give a friendly wave to the precursor knight.
He waves back.
And Adele stands beside Balasar in a I'm going to wait out here thing.
So the precursor knight knocks backhanded on the door that's behind him. No, Derek Page. It's not a Church of Menoth. So Constantine, the party leader, is a devout Old Faith Mennonite. This is Order of Illumination. So they are kind of like the witch hunters of the Moran religion. So yeah, you approach the warehouse door.
Adele is going to keep a healthy distance, the other side of the street if he can.
Okay, yeah, of course you can. So about 30 seconds after the precursor knight knocks on the door, she walks out and crosses the street to meet you.
Adele greets her with a smile and takes her hand and kisses it.
She hasn't offered her hand.
Oh, well then Adele is going to wait to see if she does.
She does not. She says, "Good evening.
Good evening.
You're right on time."
I find it best to be punctual.
So, I understand that you're considering aiding us.
Shall we speak somewhere a little more discreet rather than in the street?
Yes, perhaps. And she points to a eatery down the street. Perhaps that would be an appropriate place. And she smiles
fantastic.
a smile of an immaculate set of teeth, which is fairly unusual in Five Fingers.
Out of character, I'm getting flashbacks to the first campaign with Idor who collected teeth.
Well,
I'm so glad that Adele is not Idor.
Lovely.
In character, Adele offers her his arm.
She declines and says, "I'm not so feeble as to need escorting, sir."
Merely manners, madame. I have no doubt about your strength.
Noted.
And Adele takes a step forwards.
So she walks with you, and as you're walking towards the eatery, she says, "So, what makes you want to aid the Church of Morrow's Order of Illumination in our pursuit of the destruction of evil here in Five Fingers?"
The enemy of our enemy is our friend.
The enemy of our enemy is our friend. Curious.
Well, it would hardly be fair of me to speak for the entire company and regard the good church as a friend to all of our members, given you have met our good captain.
The Menite.
If you wish to describe him as such.
Well, it's how he describes himself, so.
Indeed.
I understand that he is somewhat opinionated on the works of Morrowans.
My dear lady, I believe we are all opinionated when it comes to matters of faith.
And your opinion is?
My opinion is that Crix is something to be purged.
Ah, but we were talking about faith. What is your opinion on faith?
Well, I was raised that discussing faith is impolite at a business meeting, but since you asked...
But everything we do here is of faith. For we are a holy organisation, charged by Morrow himself to destroy the abominations that blight this world. So faith is part of everything we do. In your head, you hear a voice say, "Leave. Make your excuses and leave."
Adele pauses and considers and says, I have great respects for the work that your organization does, just as I have great respect for the church as a whole. However, you are the first of your particular order I've met, and obviously one has heard the stories that your organization has engaged in. And so you must forgive me when I say that while I admire what it is you do, as the herald for the company I currently representing, it is difficult for me to speak as an individual and a representative. So any reluctance on my part should not be taken as a sign that I am in any way opposed to you personally or to the order you represent, simply that I am trying to be respectful to my immediate superior.
Sorry, I'm dealing with paint explosion. I was trying to get brown paint out of a dropper bottle that is running low, and it spooged everywhere and has splattered my desk, my laptop, everything, my phone, with paint.
Well, that's okay, because while I was trying to compose that, I am dealing with a little one who's on a sleep strike. So
yeah, I hear that. Bless. So, inside your head, again, you hear, "Make your excuses and leave. She'll kill you. She'll kill us." And Lady Gravine looks at you and says, "Yes, indeed. Well, we have travelled here from Caspia on a holy pledge to destroy all evil within the city, or at least as much as we can. We obviously heard about the Crixian incursion, and it warrants our attention. So we will be looking into it regardless. So whether or not..."
Well, I have a gift.
Yeah, Little M wants to play.
Yeah, well, I can't. So, sorry. Anyway, you were saying?
So, whether or not you choose to aid us in any actual way or not, we will still be investigating. So, I assume that our paths will cross nevertheless.
I had expected no less. As I said, I'm simply representing the whole company, but as an individual, I wish to work with you, and I believe I will be the liaison between the Grey Lanterns and your organization. And as a show of good faith, I have a gift for you.
A gift for me.
Yes. And Adele hesitates and says, "Well, let us step inside, and then I will present you with this gift."
Of course. She
And
follow.
Adele holds open the door.
She walks inside.
What does the inside look like?
A fairly upmarket restaurant. Tables, people
Okay.
sat eating, um, serving, woman carrying trays of food to tables.
So does it look like the sort of go seat yourself or wait to be seated sort of establishment?
Go seat yourself.
Well, Adele leads her to a table in the corner, if there are any.
There is.
And then he says, "Would you care for an aperitif?"
She says, certainly. Are
And
you
Adele
paying or am I?
flags. Adele laughs quietly and says, "Well, madame, I am aware that this is a um, business meal, and while I am aware that you can certainly pay your own way, I am still a gentleman of Lale, and I would be most obliged to you if you would permit me this small courtesy."
She smiles and says, I wouldn't want to tarnish your honour, sir."
"Nor would I wish to tarnish yours, milady." And Adele gestures for um, a serving wench or whoever is floating
You
around.
can't call them serving wenches.
Adele can call them whatever he likes because he's nobility from a different era.
This is like 600 after rebellion. You can't call people serving wenches, bruh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Seriously,
Hostesses, then.
you are the
Waitresses.
face of the Grey Lanterns. Get woke or go broke.
All right.
I I joke. I joke. Um. So shortly, somebody comes to attend to your table.
And whatever the traditional Laelies aperitif is, maybe something dry, champagne if they have it, or the equivalent, whatever
They don't.
Adele asks for it.
They don't serve Laylee's food.
Of course they don't.
Table
So then he
penguins.
just, yes.
Yeah,
Then he
direct
asks
page
for
says table penguins.
the driest wine they have.
Um, okay. Troll GM in me wants to give you a empty glass.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, I did say Troll GM wants to do that. Like, that's not actually what's going to happen, but like, that's what I want to do. Sagittarius Hero, have you never heard "Get Woke or Go Broke"? Like, the right wing actually say the opposite version. They say, "Go woke, go broke," because they think that companies go under if they, you know, say the phrases like Black Lives Matter on their social media. Um, I'm personally of the opinion of, companies should declare, you know, that they're not in favour of hate speech, but whatever. Um, so yes, she comes over with a bottle of wine for the table.
And then Adele says, "And what is your daily special?"
She says that is grilled sea bass.
"Wonderful, milady."
She says, yeah, the sea bass will be fine.
And then Adele orders two sea basses and a a different wine to complement the fish.
Um, the serving the serving lady looks at you a bit odd and says, the wine that you've got should be fine for sea bass.
Adele simply raises an eyebrow.
Well, white wine goes with fish, dude.
Oh, I know that. Adele wants a medium-bodied white wine to go with the fish
Okay. She
because
fetches
he's
you that.
he's just laying it on as much as he can.
Oh, so you tried to correct the help to look clever in front of the lady.
He's just trying to be as traditionally Laolis as possible.
Fair enough, fair enough. Alrighty. So they bring over the food about 10 minutes later. Did you want to do anything in that 10 minutes, or do you want to just make idle chit chat while you
Well,
wait?
during those 10 minutes, he's going to pour um, Lady Gravine a small aperitif of the dry wine, and then he's going to say the following. In the course of my investigations, I ran across some troubling rumors of, and he lowers his voice at this, Theramites operating in Five Fingers. I had cause to suspect that such a cult might have been involved, given their reputation for dealing in, well, shall we say, those which are dead, which should remain so, but are no longer so. And, well, I had it on good authority from a number of sources that it was Crixian thralls we were facing. Still, in the interest of candor, I felt I should report it to you. And I have not felt the need to share this with my captain, as I fear we are spread too thin, and we have neither the time nor the resources to hunt down the followers of Thamar. And forgive me, but given his temperament, I fear he might do just that.
Well,
Now, uh,
I understand that Theramites and Crixians do not, as we say, get along. They they have no common ground, as it were. Um,
indeed, when
so,
we first faced the thralls, um, we had simply heard that they were undead, and we were not aware that they were Crixian until we faced them. And yes,
but I have heard tell of thermite cults within Five Fingers, and rest your mind easy that my organisation will be doing our utmost to root this evil from Five Fingers. We
yes, I suspected you might. And Adele pulls out a piece of paper and slides it across the table to her.
okay. What's on the piece of paper?
The address of the Theramite enclave that he discovered
Wait, what?
many sessions ago when he was poking his nose around.
I don't remember that. When did that
It was
happen?
during some downtime, and he was doing some sneaking and looking for Theramite stuff.
Did you ever speak to these people?
No, he never actually went inside.
Right. Oh, you just saw runes on the wall.
That's the one.
Yep. Okay. Brilliant.
And
Um.
so Adele says with it, I, according to my source, while I was investigating, this is the possible location of a site. I cannot confirm it, and obviously you must take it with a grain of salt. But this is what I know personally, and it is yours.
Theramite
It,
cult live at this. Make their nest. She says nest with a kind of sneering tone. At this address.
that is what I've been led to believe. Although, as I said, I cannot confirm it.
Her
But I
eyes.
thought you
Her
might
eyes
be.
light up. A hungry look upon her face. a beautiful smile erupts from her face because she is quite a looker. And she says, "Well, to hell with dinner. Let's go there now. You and I. You can prove your strengths of arms and worthiness to be an ally, and we can root some evil from this city tonight."
Indeed, we could. I mean,
We could.
I
We
thought you would
should.
prefer it over flowers, my dear lady. Um,
We should do it
but
right now.
well, I suspect that just the two of us, we don't know how many numbers there are.
Certainly, reconnoiter wouldn't be out of question.
Might I suggest that I invite our captain along? I'm sure that he would be more than happy to put a few, shall we say, rats of the city in a place where they could not disturb the dead.
Well, if you'd like to have him along to hold your hand, I certainly
Not
wouldn't.
at all.
I certainly wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't turn down an extra hand.
My lady, I am perfectly capable of handling myself. I simply feel that when you enter a rat's nest, they tend to scatter and flee, and the more hands with nets, the more likely you are to catch all of the rats.
Indeed, indeed. By the way, Derek Page says somebody might be getting two types of action. I think he's referring to Adele.
Out of character, I should probably say for everybody who's listening, Adele doesn't actually like our other Theramites. He sees them as competition, and he's been waiting for a chance to get rid of them.
Yeah. Yes.
If anyone's seen Highlander, there can be only one.
Yeah. Adele's a bit of a prick. He's basically throwing unknown people to the wolves in an attempt to gain political favour, it seems.
He was going to try and eliminate them anyway. It's
Only if
just an opportunity.
belled.
So I need to make them slightly bigger.
Anyway, so Adele rises and drops a few coins on the table and says, "Your wishes, my pleasure, milady."
Okay. She seems notably impressed and takes your arm to leave. Or at least
Wow, that's definitely a plus
she
one.
offers her arm.
I feel a little influence bar has just increased a little.
Oh, if I were that crass to use influence bars.
And Adele comments as he's leading the way out. You must come from an exceptionally noble family, milady. Such valor and courage. Such enthusiasm and passion. I am most impressed.
Oh, I gave up all my family's holdings when I joined the order. Worldly goods are not as important as the routing of true evil.
Indeed. And if I may be so crass, milady, there is another saying, blood will out, and you certainly have the bearings of the most noble of lineages. It will be an honor to fight by your side.
Get your tongue out of... Yes, indeed. So, just bear with me. So you need to go back to Constantine.
Yes. Hopefully with her knight and Balasar.
Oh, you want to fetch the the knight as well. Cool.
Yes. I get the feeling that letting her die on our watch is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be great.
But I mean, then Adele might have two souls who could fight each other. But, you know.
I mean, this is the type of thing I wish I had a prep work for, because I'm now having to draw a map in real time.
Sorry?
No, you're not.
I wasn't expecting her to act immediately.
Alright, well, maybe convince her not to.
Just for you, Tom.
Yeah, please.
Adele pats her hand and says, Milady, it has occurred to me that it is night, and
They're more
by the
likely to
time
be.
we reach by the time we reach the island, the location, it will be the very middle of the night, and it may be that we would do better after a night of rest, and when we have time to organize the nets. After all, you have no idea where the tunnels might lead any more than I do, and I'm certain that it would not simply be the front entrance.
Tunnels?
Well, would they not have back entrances, side entrances?
I don't know, you seem to know a lot about them.
Oh,
How much did
it
your
is
informants
actually
tell you?
very little, actually, but it is my hobby to read up on various points of interest. And one of my one of my tutors gave me lessons in architecture, fortresses, and so on. And one of the key lessons was never simply have the front gate.
Oh,
Always make sure you have somewhere to leave. And I've always taken that lesson to heart. So whenever we have been fighting the forces of evil, I've always tried to post a man on any possible exits to catch the ones who flee. You'd be surprised how many times it's been effective.
indeed. Maybe you could tell me more. How often have these fortresses of which you've been in had multiple entrances?
Well, and Adele pauses. If we're not leaving tonight, then I suggest we resume dinner. Otherwise, I can tell you on the way.
She's still walking as if we're going to the place.
Oh, Tom, you don't make it easy for me.
I know. I also don't make it easy for me,
Yes, it's true.
but
Adele,
I am hastily constructing a map.
well, one of Adele's talents is to speak at great length about nothing. And so, very carefully, he begins to relay the story of the missing workman. And the first time they meet Three-Faced Riley without certain details. And so he describes the cave that they went through and the multiple passages and how it all led to this one place where there was this lady in a robe who was chanting. And after confronting this three-faced construct, it fled down the tunnel, causing it to collapse. And Adele says at this point, now, if only we had scouted further down the coast, as I wished the rest of my party had listened to me, then we might have been able to cut him off. But alas, it escaped.
Interesting, she says. Do go on.
Well, this was just one instance. And but let me see. Um, we also faced a rather strange. I'm not even sure what to call him. He was singing and using arcane spells in the forest. Fortunately,
Telling you I have a
our
headache.
man, fortunately, our man was able to intercept him and slay him. And Adele describes the wold and how it went toe to toe against Hodgepodge, and um, and he describes the background behind the songster druid and how had things gone south, then he too could have fled.
Hmm.
And so Adele begins to talk about terrain um, as a noble who's been schooled in the art of warfare.
Yep.
And his own personal experience with tactics. And then he talks about the battle in which the Grey Lanterns were almost destroyed. And he gives his critical analysis of it and describes that even though they slew some of the heretics, um, the fact of the matter was that the Grey Lanterns were pinned and there wasn't actually an escape route for them, and that was how most of their number got destroyed because they were enveloped.
Hmm. Interesting. And what happened after?
Ah, well, that is a very sad tale where myself and the good captain and a few others were able to escort our dead all the way back to Five Fingers.
Oh my god, I am a fucking genius.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't Lady Gravine, but who
No, that
knows?
was me being an absolute Chad. I
I
have.
don't know what that means. People say that, and I don't know what it means.
It means that I'm a Chad, bruh.
Yeah, again, just repeating the word does not help me understand what it means.
It has a lot of internet usage. In this term, I'm referring to myself as a very competent fellow that has just made a map with dynamic lighting while Colin was filibustering.
Good use of the word filibuster. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yes, so
I
do I.
mean, I'm not a politically minded person um, compared to you fine fellows, but I did manage it there. Right, so what I'm going to do, because it is just gone 10, so we're halfway through, I am going to call it for a toilet break. Um, so everybody, if you're watching, we typically take 15 minutes, although usually it's less, and often there will be one or more of us still chatting. I am going to go use the facilities and make myself a cup of tea. I will see you guys in a few minutes. Um, just a quick reminder to anyone watching, if you do happen to oh, Derek Page has put Chad, meaning Chad Thundercock or just Chad, a derogatory name given to an attractive man who is sexually successful with women. Etymology: the origin of the meaning Chad is murky, but it's popularised on 4chan, the image board of the Anonymous Hacker Collective. But basically, you can use it to be like you're a bro who did like a powerful thing. I like when I compare um, WCT players to casual players. The WCT players would be the Chads.
Hmm.
So they'd be like
Fair
these
enough.
these Chad WCT player, and then it would be Virgin uh, casual player. Anyway, um, if anyone's watching is enjoying the content, consider subscribing because we made affiliate. We now have subscriptions open. Um, I'm currently doing a giveaway. So this terrain piece here that I'm now showing on my painting cam. Um, on I think it's like the 1st of September, the first stream I do in September, I will be giving away this terrain to one of the people that support. support the content I make on either Twitch or Patreon. So this will be going to one lucky winner. It is a Circle Orboros Wold Wrath that's been destroyed and turned into terrain. So it's also being entered into a terrain competition, which may mean that the winner gets a winning um, competition piece. But nevertheless, anyone that supports the channel will be entered to win that. I'll be back in a second after I've got myself a drink and been toilet.
Well, I was not expecting to speak like that for however long.
I think you did a good job. It was very
Yeah, I hope my
filibuster.
improv wasn't too shabby.
I must admit, I was a toddler wrangling, so I didn't hear a lot of the conversation over dinner.
You didn't miss a whole lot. Adele passed her a slip of paper with the address of the Theramite nest he found several sessions ago and has been wanting to clear out. Doing his best impression of Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. Because, they're his rivals and he wants them gone. And she shot up with her eyes alight with frenzied excitement. And yeah, it looks like this is going to be an action-packed date.
That's good. That's reassuring.
Yeah, so we're dealing with a fanatic here. He suggested that they invite Constantine along and a couple of others, and she was not so thrilled on the idea. I think she just wanted it to be a duo for two. And so Adele was having to backtrack and talk about rats escaping the nest and how more nets means all the rats will be caught rather than rats escaping, and then having to bluff his way through explaining why a nest might have multiple exits, and drawing upon his education in the arts of warfare and castle design.
Castle design.
Well, never just have the main gate, always have a way back, and I'm sure you caught the part about how the Grey Lanterns got destroyed, according to Adele.
Yes, I noticed you referred to the Menites that we were fighting as heretics, and they're misguided, but
well,
Adele
isn't Constantine, and the finer nuances escape him. Also, he was playing to his audience.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Oh, they roll me up, the Morrowins, they do.
Oh, they rile everybody up. So, if you wanted, we could kill
her. Yeah, well, that would still be murder, even if she's a Morrowind. She'll still end up fighting at the City of Man.
Alrighty, so I come back and I see that Greylord Dave has subscribed with his Twitch Prime account. So thanks very much, Greylord Dave. You now have access to the very highly in demand Rocks Fall emoji.
Yeah, just so you know, I logged on to subscribe and I logged straight back off again, so I haven't seen much.
Oh, you don't need to worry too much, dude. It's all good. Rocks Fall is a running joke within our campaign because when the party get a bit cheeky in a metagaming, I like to casually threaten that even if they're in the field in the middle of, the plains, rocks might fall on them.
That's certainly one interpretation. I have another interpretation of the GM simply bullying poor innocent players who are simply making jokes.
Bullying poor innocent players. Oh Lord. If only you knew what an innocent player was.
Constantine.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, Adele's innocent. He's never been married. And I imagine all of his dates end very similarly to this one. In fact, this might even be his first date or his longest date. So, yeah.
Tom, is Corvus on a river?
Corvus? Bear with me. I believe so. I think most Signaran cities.
Is it on the same river as Five Fingers, as Dragon's Tongue?
I believe it's on the Dragon's Tongue. Yeah, I will just double check for you. I believe so, though. I think it's at a point where two rivers meet. That is
Is
my.
it a big river?
So it is where the Dragon's Tongue meets the Black River. So the Dragon's Tongue River comes in from the west, and the Black River comes in from the north. And
And that's where
Corvus is at the point of the two rivers meeting, and then the Black River heads southeast.
Cool.
So, oh, by the way, just to let Greylord Dave know, that means they are now entered twice into the giveaway.
Oh gosh.
So they have 2 tickets into the giveaway. Well, that's the thing. Like, you support in 2 different ways, you get 2 different chances. That's how I see it, anyway.
Yeah. I have another question, and this may be an answer that you'll give me when we're not streaming, when
Sure.
we've finished our break. But your title page for this adventure,
Yes.
how did you do that?
Title page. What do you mean?
You know, the one that says what season it is and how many days in we are.
Let me just go to it now for you. You mean this one?
Yeah, that's one.
So I found a background as just an art asset and put it up as if it's the map,
Yeah,
and then just added text boxes.
which is on.
So you go to the left-hand side. There is one with 3 dots in a kind of arrow shape pointing to the left, and it says draw shape, freehand, polygon line, text, and you just click text, add a text box, and I just added. There is probably like 15 different 15 different text boxes there.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, I just have to write. Brilliant.
Yeah. Apparently, not many GMs do this, but I just figured having an objectives page.
I really like it. I mean, just.
Yeah, the red text is a little harder to read, but it's a lot easier once you zoom in.
Cool. That's the other thing I need to do. Yeah, I'm just planning my campaign, and
no worries. Like
at the moment I have.
Like I said to you when you mentioned it for the first time, if you need any help, just let me know.
Cheers. Well, one of the players did suggest when they all get a bit higher up, because at the moment they are like. I worry about them quite a lot. But when they do get a bit higher up, they said we should do a crossover session.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
I don't know how that would work, but that's what they said.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. So, because you were off dealing with your little one, how much did you get from what's happening?
I didn't hear much of the conversation over dinner. I'd come back at the point I heard them order sea bass.
Yep.
I think that I heard that.
They certainly ordered sea bass.
And then that from then on, I think. Yeah, from the sea bass onwards.
Right. So basically, the long and short of it is, Adele gave them the address of the Theramite safe house that he found. Like at one point during some downtime, he went looking, and he found a Theramite safe house, but never went in it.
Okay.
So he decided to offer it up as some sort of, I don't know, like
good intentions.
Yeah. Yeah, he certainly did. And if I'd have known he'd have done that, I'd be better prepared with mobs. I'll be honest with you. But
I wasn't expecting us to go hunting for them this session. If I'd known, I would have copied and pasted the speech to you ahead of time.
Well, here's the thing, right? You guys already told me your intentions that you want to kill something today. And as your GM, I'm facilitating your bloodlust.
Not my bloodlust, it's the
It
gun.
well, the gun's bloodlust. Does the gun have bloodlust, or does Constantine have bloodlust?
Constantine's not an angry man.
So
Honest.
I'm sorry. What? The guy that tried to murder somebody by shooting him in the back of the head is not an angry man?
Well, he deserved it.
Yeah. Um, Derek Page, this party is very much not actual murder hobos. It's really quite impressive. And one of the reasons why they're not murder hobos, well, a couple of the reasons why. One is they don't gain any XP for killing things. They get EXP from sessions and for hitting story beats. So if they complete a mission without killing anything, it's as valuable to them as one with killing everything. Also, they have property. So if they were to just kill anything they wanted willy nilly, repercussions would come back to where they live. And this is where they live, by the way. This is their base. Um, so all of the various characters that. So they have a guard that they recruited called Francois. They have like 3 gobbers at this point. A crippled man with no legs.
We have to get him a combat wheelchair.
Oh, have you been reading the combat wheelchair stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. We
Oh,
definitely have to get him a
I
combat
love
wheelchair.
I love what she's done. I love how she's handled the haters. I am a big fan. Yeah,
Just put combat wheelchair
into the to-do list.
Twitter if anyone's interested. There's a whole load of stuff on there, and it's really good and it's really worthwhile supporting. And you can buy the miniatures now, should you wish.
Yeah, I'm going to because I have an affiliate with Outpost, and Outpost are going to be selling them. So I think I'll put up links to that. Yes, they have a pet Duskwolf, although it's not tame currently, because the party member that captured it hasn't actually got animal handling skill yet. So it's currently in a cage here, next to their warjack. So he wants to tame the Duskwolf once he has animal handling skill. But currently, it's just snarling at anybody, and yeah, it's not particularly pleased at the minute.
So it's still not playing Dead Possum towards Adele, or just growling.
You haven't gone near it since.
That's true.
So yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
there is a third reason that we're not murder hobos, and that's simply that Adele doesn't have undead thralls, and therefore human resources takes on a slightly different meaning when they're not literal corpse resources to be reanimated.
Mm.
So,
I should actually
you know,
show.
people are more valuable alive.
I should actually show the people watching what this map looks like for you guys, because that's what it looks like for them. So it's all lit up with various, like, there's a torch on this wall so it's lit up. There's candles on the bedside tables so they're dimly lit up. So when they're walking around as players, because they can move their tokens about, this is what they see. They don't just see the full room like I do. So the forge room is very well lit up, and then when they go outside's fully lit up because it's daytime. Their line of sight is blocked by walls, but yeah, dynamic lighting is really really good. The party decided to go on a rolling basis of paying for it. But this room at the back is very dark because there's no lights back here. And spoilers, there's a secret passage in that room. The party found it, but um, a a small little knock at the party on my part. When I first described this building, I said, yeah, so it's a 2-story building. Um, it's fairly nice. It's, well maintained. All this. I'm describing the building, and they go in. They search it. It's currently been under attack, so they had to put out fires and kill the people that had attacked it while they were away in session 1. This is, and they completely forgot that I'd said that it was a 2-story building, and the fact that there's no staircase. And it wasn't until, what was it, like a couple of real world months Was it a couple of months?
Something like that.
Yeah, a couple of months of weekly sessions before I had an NPC go, so what's upstairs? And everyone went, what? There's an
To
upstairs?
to be fair, I was planning on trying to find the upstairs right before your NPC said it. So
Yeah,
you know,
only because I told you
um,
about it.
yeah. Well, anyway, are we meant to be on the base screen or the main screen? Because I'm just seeing the main screen.
I can put you on the base screen.
Okay, I don't mind. I was just trying to make sure that we were all.
Yeah, so
Having used Roll20 to plan a campaign myself, I now appreciate what Tom goes through in trying to make sure everyone is looking at the right screen now.
yeah, it's not as easy as all that, is it?
Well, it's not as straightforward as you would hope it would be.
Yeah. It's being so for people watching. I started using Roll20 because of the pandemic. I'm a face-to-face GM normally, and I used to GM with great big sheets of paper and a bag of Sharpies that the players bought me. They bought me like a multi-pack of Sharpies of all different colours. So I do green for the trees, and I'd just draw on what they could see. So I'd just improving where the party wanted to go. Very, very easy. Since I've been using Roll20, I've had to say, because we meet every Saturday, on a Monday, I say, right, guys, you've had a few days to think about it. I want to know on Monday what you want to do next week so I can actually plan it in advance. Anywho, so we find ourselves with a very keen Order of Illumination um, lady who is wanting you guys to go investigate this. Yeah, there is actually a way to split party onto different maps. So you can drag single players from the bottom screen. So Constantine, are you on the break screen?
I am currently on the home screen.
Yep. Adele, where are you?
I am on the base screen, I believe.
Yep. So basically, the player tab, the big red player tab, is currently on the Grey Lanterns HQ. But I've dragged Constantine's name from the bottom of the screen, where all the player names are, onto the break screen individually. I'm now going to put you on the map screen of Five Fingers,
Cool.
and now I'm going to put you in with everybody else, and then I just delete that off. I don't know how to delete you off now. Oops. I am a scrub. Whoopsie doodle. I think you are now permanent. Did I just merge you? Yeah, and then to get rid of you as a separate viewer, I just drag you onto the player bookmark, and it gets rid of your, because it shows me your character on the scroll bar at the top. Anyway, I can show you it like out of stream if you want to know how to do it. But yeah, you can definitely split the party. It's just not as easy as all that, guys. People in chat are asking about splitting the party. So, Lady Gravine has asked Adele along to looking into these Theramite cultists, and he has agreed to this on the condition that he can bring you, Constantine.
Right.
He figured that you'd be up for killing some Theramites.
Sending them to their eternal rest. Yeah, sure, why not?
I figured you'd be keen to kill some bad guys.
Heretics.
Yeah. I'm just going to drag your tokens on, and I'm going to use. I don't actually have. Oh, I know who I can use. Restore her. I'm going to use Elodie's character for Lady Gravine. And that should be it. Okay, so I am going to zoom in. And then the most tiresome part is giving everybody sight, because
Yeah.
every time you start a new map, you have to give as long you only actually have to do this if you're using dynamic lighting.
Yeah, if you use Fog of War or one of the other things, you don't have to worry about it. Although you do have to reveal the map.
Yeah, but it's not the end of the world. 36 feet of light and 18 feet of dim light. And all players see light has light. Yep. And then... Sorry. I know this is a bit tedious for people to watch. I am sorry. If I'd have planned this better in advance, I'd have already done this all earlier today or another day or whatever.
Well, if you'd known that Adele was going to mention Theramites as a gift, I'm sure you would have prepared all of
Derek
it.
Page, yes, you do need to subscribe to at least the middle tier of Roll20 to be able to use dynamic lighting. The free version doesn't have it, sadly. You can use budget dynamic lighting, which is called Fog of War. But every time a character moves, so like the guys that I'm playing with can move their own tokens because I've given them permission to move their player characters. But the world doesn't automatically update what they can see, so you have to re-drag and re-show the Fog of War. We used it for the first couple of sessions, didn't we, guys? And it works,
Yeah.
but it's not very reactive. One of the rules that we've added to the IKRPG because of dynamic lighting, which doesn't exist on the tabletop version. So, like, you guys watching on the stream can see the entire dungeon that I've set up, right? The players will only be able to see the first room. So, if we were playing this face to face, they'd be able to see the entire dungeon, and they'd unfortunately have that metagame knowledge of knowing, oh yeah, well, we're going to be turning left or we're going to be turning right. Now, because they don't hear, we had to figure out a rule for movement because something could be around a corner. So basically, if a player is using a run move and they basically what I've allowed them to do is they can move half their speed and then see what they can see when they've moved half their speed, and then if they want, they can then make an agility check of a skill of 10, I think it was, to immediately change direction and run away if they've spotted something they didn't want to move near. And the same applies to charges. Say they can see one enemy at the edge of their sight and they charge it, and then as they get base to base with it, sorry, as they move half the distance to charge it, their vision suddenly opens up. There was 20 guys hiding in the shadows. They can make an agility check to stop the charge and use the rest of their movement to back up. It just means that... Sorry?
I think we did something like that with the tabletop game where you'd only draw part of the map and you'd draw more of it as we went along.
Yeah, but it isn't always as easy, though, is it?
No.
Anywho, so you approach the address. Oh, did you want to speak to Lady Gravine before you head in, or do you want to just expedite things and go straight there?
Adele will simply
No, I'm mainly asking that to
lead them.
Constantine because he's the one being asked if he'll go.
I see.
I just nod to her curtly,
Okay.
bow my head slightly and say, as you wish. Like, polite, but not friendly.
Alrighty. So you guys are outside the premises of the address, and what do you want to do?
Well, dynamic lighting isn't on for me, so I can see everything.
What?
So
What do you mean you can see
it's because
everything?
you moved me to the base. I mean, I can see everything.
Oh shit.
That's okay.
I definitely 100% totally cannot see everything.
When I click on your character, I can't see everything. I can see simply the big white void that you start in and a tunnel.
I can take a shot and
No,
send
you
it
don't
to you.
need to. I believe you. You have no reason to lie. I don't get it. Like, your character hasn't got anything different. What about now?
No, I can still see the whole map.
Why the fuck can you see the whole map? That makes zero sense.
You could delete my character and respawn it, I guess.
Oh, crap. Now it's frozen up.
Or what I can do is I can just zoom into the current room
No, it's
and
fine. I'm going to try
not
and
zoom
fix
out.
it, mate. I mean, you've already had spoilers, so you know. I just reloaded Roll20.
Right, I'll reload Roll22.
Yeah, apparently.
Technical difficulties sponsored by Pricks.
Okay, so now you have no vision at all.
Yeah, it's completely black for me now.
Bright light. 18 feet. Dim light. 36 feet. Total light 36 feet. What? Oh, it's 18 feet. Okay, save changes. How are things for you now?
Hold on. I'm trying to the Mac brick to actually scroll.
So for me, you should be working now.
Yeah, Roll20 is frozen for me. Sorry, let me just reload it a second. And it's still loading.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Aha! I believe it's working better now.
The other thing that I want to know is, can you see each other's light?
As soon as it's finished loading, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it's really laggy for some reason. Yes, you can see each other's light. You don't need to tell me. Whew. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I think it's because of a different version of dynamic lighting. How's that?
Okay, I saw something flash across the screen, and oh, there we go. Yes, I can see.
Okay. How's it for you, David?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, cool. So you are at the threshold of this building, the address of which Adele gave to the Order of the Illumination operative. So it has the Theramite rune etched into the doorpost that tipped him off that this was a Theramite safe house.
Before they go inside, Adele pauses and leans up and whispers to Lady Graveine. Now, this was the address that I was given. I don't know any distinguishing marks about it. Does any of it look familiar to you?
She spends a couple of minutes looking around the alleyway, tutting to herself and inspecting things. She says, "Yes, there on that door frame, there's a Theramite rune carved there. This indicates the presence of a Theramite safe house."
How shocking that it would be under our noses this entire time.
Indeed. Well, shall we?
Well, before we go in, may I ask, do you have a plan of attack? Shall we simply go in and verify how many people there are and then draw steel, or shall we go in with steel pre-drawn? There may be lookouts.
Well, I think that it would be a good opportunity for you to show what you can do. But I would certainly have your weapons about you.
And forgive my ignorance, but is it customary to offer surrender and a chance to convert, or do we simply send them to be judged, as it were?
It depends what you see. If you see any presence of dark magic or ritual sacrifice or anything such as that, then I can make summary judgment. By the way, Dirk Page says that baby translates to rip and tear.
I think he's right.
I think your little one wants you to get amongst it. So, yes, she says that should there be... by the way, guys, don't move about. You're not in there yet. She says, follow my lead in that regard.
Of course. Now, in regards to the potential rear exits, I'm happy to scout ahead and block, or I'm happy to draw my sword. I'm inexperienced in such matters of storming a Theramite safe house, so I defer to your judgment entirely, lady.
She looks at you with her big blue eyes, smiles and says, "Less talk, smart boy."
Adele very deliberately draws the sword cane and uses the pommel to rap on the door.
A slit on the door opens up. The person within looks at the four of you stood in the alleyway, and the slit immediately shuts again, and then you can hear shouting voices from behind the door.
Balasar, would you do the honours and break it down?
Right on it, boss. So that's a strength check from Balasar. The door shakes and splinters as Balasar smashes into it with his great axe. but it does not. It does not. It does not come down yet.
Adele is going to try and shoulder charge the splintered door.
Okay, strength check, please.
That is a 13.
Okay, so Adele, mustering all his strength, charges the door, and in its weakened state, it snaps in two at the point of Balasar's axe strike, and the hinged half swings loosely as Adele passes through into the room. Or rather, the corridor. Dun, dun, dun. It looks to be some sort of stone passageway, perhaps some sort of originally a bathhouse.
Adele calls down the corridor. Followers of Thamar, lay down your arms and do not resist. This is your only warning. Do so and your lives shall be spared.
You hear whispering in the darkness.
Do I need to make a persuasion roll?
You can try, yeah. If that's your intent, you can certainly try.
Yes.
For anyone watching, I'm very much a you can try GM, so I don't like to tell them no. So let's see if they are persuaded.
I doubt it with a roll of an 11.
They are not persuaded. One of them says, all four of you can fuck off.
You always speak like that in front of women.
I speak like that in front of her.
Lock and load, bitches.
Okay. You get amongst it. Feel free to move now, by the way. And for those watching at home, this is what Adele can see. So as you proceed down the passageway, you see a set of stairs descending on the left and right of...
I didn't mean to do that.
Sorry?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
That's fine, don't worry.
It's rolling initiative because we're in combat.
Yep, rolling initiative is fine. Feel free to roll initiative.
Right, I'll do it properly then.
Well, I'll just take the 22, that's a fairly good roll.
Yeah, I could click on the token first and add it to the thing. But
Right, yeah, if you want to do that, go for it. I'm not bothered. I'm near that bothered, by the way.
So, gone on the thing.
Constantine has a 22, Balasar has a 23. So
Adele has a 22.
Adele. So we'll add Gravine. We will add...
Did Gravine not bring her monk? Her knight.
He wasn't with you when you were in the restaurant.
Ah, I see. Oh, Lady Gravine.
And she was too excited at the opportunity of a kill. Okay, cool. So Balasar, then either Adele or Constantine.
After you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Right, so as I was saying, as you enter the room, there is a set of stairs going down the left and the right that come back around, but don't light up apparently. Yeah, there we go. Yes, so as you can see from my character, and you'll see as you move up, the stairs go round to the right and round to the left, and then down to the lower floor. On the right-hand side of this room is another corridor going off to the right. Where would you like Balasar to go?
In the front.
Yeah, do you want him to go down the stairs to the left or to the right?
Left.
You're cool.
Okay.
Yeah, go left.
1, 2, 3, 4. He's running, and he's going to run to the stairs bottom down here, and position himself to receive threats. So it is Constantine's turn.
Shall I follow behind? Does that make sense? Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So,
I mean, it's that or stay out in the corridor.
there we go.
Okay, so now it's Adele's turn.
So Adele has his sword out and his buckler. For once, he's not going to be using magic.
So the cloaked people that are in the room shout various things in a language that only one of you can understand. It was in Telgesh. So Adele would have understood it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he charges and swings his sword at Balasar, but Balasar deftly dodges. And then a second one, likewise, wishes to strike true at friend Balasar. And he scores a mighty hit at Balasar, but does no damage. Balasar, angered by this, will swing back at him using his retaliatory strike ability. Nope, that was not what I wanted to do. And squishes him good. How much health do these guys have? I have 14. Oh yeah, okay, so he's okay, so Balasar swings back at him and cleaves the man in two from collarbone to opposite to the hip bone on the opposite side of his body. The man splits in half in a lovely gory mess and thuds to the ground. It is now Lady Gravevine's turn.
So, when Gravine sees the poor man rent asunder, what happens to her face? Because Adele is kind of keeping an eye on her from the corner of his eye.
So she looks very passive. You struggle to get any sort of read on her. Her almost porcelain good looks are unmoving. Okay. So she moves to the top of the stairs, and it is now Balasov's turn. Balasov's going to move to the bottom of the stairs, keeping this man within his reach, and he is going to mage. And again, this man is head is cleaved straight off of his body. His headless corpse lands with a thud, and blood dribbles down the last remaining stairs to pool at Balasar's feet. Constantine, it is your turn, sir.
Ooh. Right. So, obviously, we are going to try and find something to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
just move slightly in front of Balasar and you'll see something. I mean, nothing.
that man's down. I'm going to stand there?
Sure.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so it's done that. And then that. And then that. And I still can't see anything.
You should be able to see this guy here.
Ah, there we go. Right, okay. So he's in slightly dim light.
Yeah, so he's essentially got concealment.
Okay, so been a while.
Sorry, just to interrupt. Tom, does Adele feel any of the souls trying to escape and capture them?
Trying to escape?
Yes, the mortal.
No, you would have collected those two souls.
That's what I was asking. Thank you.
I missed.
No, you didn't. You get +1 to hit because you're intellectual.
Yeah, but they've got concealment, so...
Oh, yes. My apologies. Yes, you do this.
So I'm going to spend a feat point and re-roll that.
Yeah, sure.
Because I want blood.
You want to actually do something in your turn.
Yeah, hold on. I'll just do that. No, that one.
Yep,
That's
there
better.
you go. That's not just better. That's... unfortunately, you did roll with 3 dice damage.
Take the 6 off.
Uh-huh. Either way, it still kills the man. The bullet impacts square in the man's forehead, and his head snaps back, and he slumps to the ground without even being able to utter a word. Adele, it's your turn.
So Adele move forwards.
Yep.
To there.
Uh-huh.
And in typical Adele form, since I don't think he can charge,
Right.
he is going to call out using negotiation and saying, "Listen, your fellows have already fallen. If you wish to join them, continue. Otherwise, lay down your arms." And that is Adele's turn.
Just 1 second. So, you don't get a reply.
Funny that.
You do hear something said in Talgash, though.
Do I know what was said?
Oh, of course, you speak Talgash. You heard them say, "Protect the sanctum."
So Adele calls out to Greyvine a slightly butchered version of what he just heard.
Mm-hmm.
As if to say, I don't know what they're saying, but this is what I heard. When, in reality, he knows exactly what they were saying.
She nods and doesn't say anything. A voice in your head says to you, "Why are you doing this? Killing your own to impress one that would kill you if she knew your true nature."
Adele says very quietly, they're not my
When you
enemies.
say very
They're
quietly,
rivals.
when you think in your
In
own
his head.
yeah, no one.
But there are different degrees of thought. He could be shouting in his head.
Okay, fair enough.
But this is kind of a sad, drawing back on childhood memories, sort of almost resigned reluctance.
Sorry, and what does he say?
They're rivals.
Jade says, "Interesting," and goes quiet.
And then Adele further comments, if the Inquisition is here, they're going to find who we are and where we are unless they're distracted.
Fair enough. Alrighty.
And that's my turn done.
Alright, so now it is Thermite's. This guy is going to charge Adele. He misses. This guy is going to move forward. And he's going to fire a pistol at Constantine. He misses.
As he misses, Constantine goes, "I'm protected by a higher god than yours."
So Lady Greyvine walks here to the top of these stairs, and out of her, a glow appears in her eyes and her right hand, and a bright light emanates forth and engulfs this man here, and he dies consumed by a bright light. It's now Balasar's turn.
Sunfire?
Sorry?
Sunfire?
You don't know. Balasar is going to charge to hit. And he's going to... Oh, I pressed the wrong button again, ignore that. And he's going to split the man in twain. He is dead. Combat is, for now, over. So, having a second to be able to take in your surroundings, you note that there is a pool of water just here, in a slightly raised area, as if like a swimming bath. Various tables and barrels are set up over on this side. You can see things like towels and various other bathing accoutrements. You're in narrative time now, by the way, guys.
What is that abomination?
That's a very good out of character question. Does Adele know what it is in character?
What abomination? I'm sorry, I'm confused. I don't know what you're on about. Oh, it's a bathing pool? Like it's like a bath? It's not
Does it
unusual.
have any special ritual purpose?
You don't know?
Adele comments, I wonder what foul rites they must practice here that they feel the need to, I don't know, wash their hands?
Lady Greyvine is examining the room and she says, no evil rites take place in this room, I can assure you. This is most likely the cover for this establishment. They would insist that this is a simple bathhouse, I would imagine. It's not unusual for Theramites' safe houses to have a seemingly legitimate front entrance.
Excellent. Shall we carry on?
Certainly. Which way should we go? The corridor that is up those stairs, meaning here, or down this corridor to the left?
What do you think, gentlemen? Turning to Belisar and Adele.
Balasar is regarding both, and he says, "Wind's blowing from that direction," pointing down here. He says, "If that means anything to any of you."
Wind tends to blow from outside inside, doesn't it? Should we head up rather than?
Lady Greyvine, your experience in such matters, where do you believe I don't know, the heart? What would they call it here? The altar? I don't know. Whatever their terminology is. Where would you say it's most likely to?
Well, like I said to you earlier, I'm keen to see how you handle yourselves.
In that case, I suggest we head up. I would suggest splitting the group, but there are only 4 of us, so let us continue together.
Indeed. Balasar, climbing the stairs and going into the corridor, says, "All clear here, guys."
Can you see anything?
Long corridor, room at the end.
Okay, let's go into that room then.
Okay, you have to move your dudes.
Yeah, sorry, it's being slow for me. Would you mind moving him along so he's beside Balazar or behind him?
Yep, done.
Sorry.
It's alright, you don't need to apologise. So, as you enter this room, you notice a musty smell. You see 3 coffins on the edge, against the walls.
Should I invest? Can I investigate one of them?
Yeah, of course you can. These two over here have Morrow and Sunbursts, and this one has a Menefix.
Well, I'm going to investigate the Menefix then, obviously.
Okay.
And we'll go. What would you like? Detection?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for an 18, this is a moderately well constructed coffin, and you note slight damage to the bottom surface where it's laying on the ground, as if it's been dragged or dropped. And you also note soil in the wood grain in places.
Okay. So this is not originally from here. This has been moved from somewhere else, and somewhere with soil. So not necessarily nearby, because there are, if I remember rightly, cobbles on the street.
There are cobbles on the street. Also, nobody is buried on this island.
Yeah. Okay.
Outside of, well, there's only a few places in the city itself that people get buried, and they are the exceptionally wealthy.
I'm going to relay that information to the rest of the party.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to target that information almost as if I'm speaking directly to Balasar.
Yep.
Because he is the one that, remarkably, the one that I trust in this situation at the moment.
Okay.
But with the understanding that everyone else will hear.
So Balasar looks at you and says, "What are they doing bringing the dead here?"
Well, I don't know, but I suspect whatever purpose it is a nefarious one.
Lady Gravine looks at you and says, "Often Theramites will try and gain some sort of power from the dead, whether it's talking to a deceased person by momentarily reanimating them to glean what information they may have had in life, or it's the reuse of the corpse by foul dark magic to turn it into an undead abomination. I note that these coffins are still sealed, so perhaps hope remains for their occupants."
Rather than put in some kind of, oh my goodness, how horrible, Adele actually stays silent outwardly, but inwardly he says to Jade, sometimes you have to know how your enemy fights. I believe that we will face this Lady Gravine on the battlefield before too long. And if an opportunity arises to, shall we say, remove the threat early, it may be worth it. And as for the Theramites, you must have noticed different factions within Crix. There are different factions within the religion here.
If you get a sense of nodding or approval. So anyway, what are you doing, guys?
Let's press on, shall we?
Feel free.
I propose we carry on going. Could you take a point, please?
Balasar says there's two ways, left and right.
Well,
let's go left.
Let's go toss a coin right.
Okay, so Balasar walks
Very
into
well,
the room to
you're
the
the
right,
captain.
and in this room, it's fairly empty, although there looks to be staining on the ground and discoloration in the middle of the room.
What colour staining?
Reddish brown.
Yeah, I thought you might say that.
So, what we would assume would be blood stains on the ground. I don't have what's it called?
Forensic science.
That's the one. I don't have forensic science, but I'm going to assume that they're blood stains. Vocalize that and say, I guess these are blood stains, and kind of look in the direction of Lady Greyvine and see what she has to say.
She says yes. Most likely, this is the room where they prepare bodies for their foul transformation. They tend
Then I
to strip the flesh back to reveal the bone, to carve profane marks upon the bone.
Then I suppose it is as well we got here when we did.
What was Constantine going to say?
So, well, that's horrific.
She nods solemnly. What would you like to do now?
Let's press forward.
Okay. Balasar heads this way and says, corridors thinning, guys. There's a room to the right. Corridor carries on to the left.
Keep going left.
Dale wants to poke his head round to the right and take a look at the door. At the room.
So in the room you see various vials and pots and jars. Various instruments that look to you to be, you're a Theramite. These are Theramite rune, thrall rune carving ingredients and inks and the various things that a Theramite would need to convert a body into a thrall.
Dale uses his sword, gifted from Constantine, to smash them.
Lady Greyvine walks around the corner as you're doing this and watches.
Dale makes sure she's very, very thorough and leave no jar untouched.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Dale is very thorough and he leaves no jar untouched.
Okay. He's quite a vocal boy today.
Oh, yes.
Alright, so she just nods curtly as you do this. Doesn't say anything. So Balasar says, there's a hole in the wall over here, guys. And then the corridor continues further on.
Just out of interest, does Constantine hear the jars being smashed?
I would imagine he's only stood like 10 feet away, so it'd be fairly impossible for him to not hear this.
Okay, because Adele is secretly hoping that Constantine is aware.
Oh, Constantine's aware. Constantine's seen what you're doing.
And Adele presses on a step behind Balasar.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you were saying, David?
And Constantine has no reason to believe you're being anything other than honest in your actions at this stage.
Cool. So
Right.
Balasar says, which way are we going, guys?
So,
Sorry, if you said something, I didn't hear it.
you use your instinct.
And by instinct, you mean roll a d3. Sorry, a d6. We're going this way.
Okay.
I randomized it. So the passage opens out into a cave-like formation. So over here to the right of the screen, the rock, the natural rock, moves up as a wall to vault to the ceiling above you. Here to the left of you is a dark chasm. There is a rope and plank bridge across the chasm in front of you.
Could I have a look at that rope bridge? Just test how good it is.
Yep, sure.
Detection.
Yeah, detection. You think it looks quite old?
Probably not going to hold us then. Can we see what's on the other side of the bridge?
Yeah, more rock the same. I mean, if your character can see it, you can see it.
Okay.
But don't
What
move
do you
on.
think?
I can't physically stop you walking into the abyss, so just don't.
Yeah, okay, well, I won't do. Okay. What do we think, Archie?
Adele pulls out his grapple.
Mm-hmm.
And simply raises an eyebrow.
You could try it if you want.
Okay, what are you aiming at?
Just the far side of the bridge onto one of the bridge poles.
Yeah, so
Adele believes that
these
if he can
poles,
get across.
these poles are fairly embedded into the rock.
Okay.
So
he's going to try to shoot to the other side of the bridge, and
do you want me to roll for you?
try and no, I can roll. Is it an agility roll or?
No. It would be a rolling to hit roll.
Ooh, I think I have that on the sheet somewhere.
Yep. So it would be with your pistol grapple. So you just roll to hit without a target, and I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
No, it wasn't an alchemical workshop, said Sagittarius Hero. It was Theramite thrall preparation area. So they were potentially going to turn those bodies in those coffins into the undead. So you rolled an 11. Yep. So your grapple strikes true and connects to this post here.
So Adele is going to use his use the rope and cross the bridge using the rope grapple as a secondary line.
Brilliant. The bridge feels fairly sturdy under your gate. It does sway somewhat, but it doesn't break.
Once he's on the other side, Adela's going to wave them over one by one, with Olisar being last.
Okay. Who's going second?
Probably Constantine.
I don't really want to go across.
Well, if you don't want to go across, you don't have to. Nobody's making you.
Well, okay, I'll go second.
No. Like, I'm being genuine. You don't actually have to go across. Like, it's an RPG.
See if there's anything on the other side and report back, Adele.
Alright, Adela's going to have a little nosy on around.
So you can see a corridor going back into the rock here. I'm not sure what else you can see. Not much, because it's fairly dark.
Right, Adele is going to sneak because he has the skills, so why not?
Yep.
And take a look.
I would remind you that you are holding a lit torch.
Yeah. Well, he can still be quiet.
Yes, yes, you can. Oh, 1 second, stop.
Okay.
Just bear with me, I'm just doing something. Okay, 1 second. Yep, okay. Carry on.
No, Adele is going to go back and signal to the captain that there's a corridor and whatever it is he sees.
Okay. Do you want me to move you back?
Okay, better go across then.
Sure, thanks, Tom.
No worries.
Do you need me to take any kind of agility roll going across
Nope.
this bridge?
No, you're just super paranoid whenever I make you cross a rope bridge for some reason.
There we go. I'm across.
Lady Greyline is waiting. Balasar is going to go across next. And he's across, and then she walks across too.
Out of character, it had occurred to me we could have cut the bridge while she was on it, but now's not the time. I'm just saying.
You are a card. Right, so what's happening? What do you want to do?
Balazar takes point again.
Okay. Balasar says, corridor continues onwards. Looks like paths left and right.
Let's go left.
Okay. Everybody make detection rolls. Okay, fine. So, as Balasar walks through the left, and with Adele just behind him, and presumably the rest of the party coming along as well, he is ambushed. Everybody roll initiative. One second. GM overlay. Token layer. Token layer. Token layer. Token layer. Token layer. So, basically, what has happened in GM voice for you? These guys noticed, because I rolled for it, the flickering torch in the corridor when Adele came to investigate first time, and heard and listened, and then planned an ambush. So they're going to essentially get a bonus round against you.
So cool. It's nice to see that someone else gets a bonus round for once.
So their initiative is relevant for the next round, essentially. Adele. And Adele rolled a 23. Good roll. And then we'll put them in descending order. And then we'll go. Basically, they get to go first, then it becomes Balasar. Okay? So this guy here is going to walk up and try and shank Adele. Oh, he misses. This guy here is going to also swing at Adele. And he also misses. This guy is going to charge at Balthasar. And hits, but does no damage. Balthasar is going to look at him rather unimpressed at this man's lack of combat prowess and hit him back and miss. And then this guy is going to also charge Balthasar. Swing at him with his sword and connecting, doing some damage to Balthasar. Three points to the 6, apparently. Which is enough to take out his intellect.
Oh dear.
Well, he only has 3. So, what are you going to do? And then this guy over here also charges Balthasar. Sorry, it should only be 2 points, because I just remembered. Balthasar is base to base with Adele.
Right, so he gets defensive line.
Yep. So he gets 1 extra armor. And then this guy hits and does 1 damage to. So that would actually just do the damage that the other guy didn't do. So I don't need to go back in the sheet and change anything. Because one guy did 2 to the 6 and one guy did 1 to the 6. Cool. That helps. Right, so it is now Balthasar's turn, and he is pissed off. So what does knocked out int do? I forget. Anyone remember?
No, I can't remember.
Not off the top of my head, sadly.
Yeah, I'm looking now, it's fine.
Is it in the cheat sheet?
No, I've got it here. -2 defense. -2 defense, can't upkeep spells. Thanks, IKRPG. So he doesn't particularly care about that, so I'm not going to waste a feat point for 3 health. So he's just going to smack a dude with his giant great axe. And he's going to hit the guy that hurt him. And he's going to miss. So he will use a feat point to reroll that because he's mighty, he only gets 1 attack per turn. He wants to make sure he actually does something with it. So he cleaves the guy in twain. That guy is an ex-Fahrenheit.
Is an ex-guy.
And, yeah, so we are now on to Adele's turn. What you going to do?
Well, Adele is going to try and stab a bitch. He doesn't like having this sword and buckler thing going on, but you know, what can you do?
Yeah, when you're undercover. No, not knockdown. It's just -2 defense. And Balthasar doesn't have any upkeep spells, so. So what's Adele going to be doing? Oh, he's attacking with his sword cane.
Indeed, he is.
So he will hit. Who are you attacking, the thug or the guard?
Whoever's closest to him.
So the thug. And he is armor 12. So you did 1 point of damage to him.
And Adele inwardly says, "That's for you, Jade."
If you could sense a soul inside your head smiling, you sense a smile. You doing anything else with your turn?
Yeah, alright. He's going to... can I try and convince people to stand down? I don't think so.
You can attempt
I'm going to try and...
I am the...
I'm gonna...
You can try this GM.
Okay. I'm going to try and roll to intimidate them intellectually. And
Okay.
I'm going to say... Your brethren have already fallen, and now you are falling too. Do you wish to join them? Wow, that's terrible. No one's going to listen to that.
The one closest to you looks at you square in the eye and says... and says... Some causes are worth dying for. Only a true believer would know this. And it is now the thug's turn. So he is going to very angrily swing at Adele. And he is going to be furied. So he strikes true and does 6 damage to the 4.
I'm going to use a feat point to half that.
3 damage to the 4.
Okay.
Balasar is now angry. He has his righteous anger now active. This other thug is going to swing at Balasar. And do diddly squat. Because Balasar is now armor 19. Because he's getting his +1 for being base to base with you, and then +2 because you just got hurt. Okay. So it is now Constantine's turn.
Right. Big point. Double fister. I'm going to shoot both of the ones that are left.
There's 3 left, so...
I can only see 2.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, you just saw, if it matters to you, you just saw this one get cut by the sword cane. If that matters to you.
Okay. So I'll shoot. This is my offhand. So, no, it's not because it's double fisted. Lets you ignore that. So this is the hand cannon rather than the head cannon first. This is not shooting the guy who's already been cut. It's shooting the one behind him.
Yep.
I believe.
Uh-huh. Alright, so you hit and do 8 damage.
A beat point. Thank you very much. That was a crit.
Uh-huh.
And then head cannon on the guy closer to me.
So as the head cannon, that should have had an extra d6 damage.
Yeah, I'll just roll an extra d6.
Yep. So sensing blood in the water, the head cannon roars and fires, striking true, and this guy slumps to the ground, a gaping hole in his chest. Okay, so that's your 2 shots done, yeah?
That is the 2 shots.
Are you reloading
Adele
one of them?
gets a soul.
And I get another beat point. I'll reload the head cannon.
Yeah, no you don't, because you're already on 3.
That would take me to
Oh.
3.
No, I'm talking to Adele. He said he gets.
Yeah, I know.
He said he gets 2 souls or any soul. You don't get any souls in this room. You're already at 3.
Okay.
You've got 2 in the first room. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. I should have said that I used a soul to halve the damage, but I said a feat point, so I'll go with that.
Yep. So then we go to the guard, and he is going to attack Adele. And he misses. And then we are on to Balasar, who is really rather annoyed at this point. Oh, no, sorry, there's 2 guards. I need this other guard to make an attack first. Sorry, my apologies. He does nothing. He attacks Balasar and clangs off of his armor. Balasar will now get to do a retaliatory strike. Silly man. This will have a +2 to hit and +2 damage because of what's it called? Oh, that's a miss.
Yeah, even with a lot to hit.
Yep, it's
Double 1.
that's like a big miss. It's a big old miss. Alright.
Is he going to reroll?
No, not really. I'd rather keep my feat points. So then it's Balasar's actual turn. So that was his retaliatory strike. And he is going to attack the guy that you guys can't see, really. So he hits and does enough to cut that guy in half. Blech. Another guy dies. Then it is Adele's turn. Hello?
So, just to clarify, I can use a soul-like feat point, right?
I believe so. Let me just double check for you. Because I'm nice like that.
I'm pretty sure we can, but I just wanted to check before attempting this.
Okay, so it says... Soul Taker. Yep, you can spend Soul Select feat points.
Okay, then I'm going to use it to, I think it's called Walk It Off. I want to heal D3 + 1, I believe.
Yep,
I'm
fine.
sorry, I'm actually AFK due to baby. Would you mind rolling it for me, Tom?
Yeah, certainly. D3 + 1.
Thank you.
So you gain 3 health back. So I'm just going to heal.
Wonderful.
I'm just going to heal you, dude.
Cheers. And then I'm going to...
What the fuck? Why is your health like that? Okay, fine. That's fully healthy then. Why are you only on 1 feat point?
Because I used 1 for a roll earlier,
Yeah.
and 1 for negating health just now, instead of using soul, like...
Okay, fair enough.
just being a noob.
No, I was just checking
So-
if you were actually on 1 feat point or not.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And then he's going to try and stab a bitch.
So you're going to move up to here?
Yeah.
1 second. Combat. Where the hell is your sword cane? You've got so many weapons, dude.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate.
No, it's fine. So you hit and you do 2 damage.
Whoa!
You feel jade smile.
And Adele
As if she's
says,
cheering you
quipping, some causes are worth bleeding for.
Do you want me to roll intimidate?
You know, why not?
Do you have intimidate?
No, just intellect.
Okay. Well, I'm going to roll on strength for that one. Yeah, he's slightly intimidated. Alright. It's now the thug's turn. Balasar's angry has gone now. He is going to attack Balasar. Because that's what he do. He does nothing. It's now Constantine's turn.
Okay. I'll shoot the guard, I guess.
Yep.
Normal shot with the head cannon because I really like it. And I only use the other gun when I can't wield a second head cannon. Can I have a second head cannon? That would be great. Bang!
Again, you didn't roll the extra dice.
Do I need to?
Yeah, he's already been injured. That's the guy that Adele just hurt.
Okay. 14 damage.
So the man takes the heavy round straight to the abdomen and slumps over, blood pooling quickly from the gaping wound in his torso. You feel a sense of satisfaction.
Yeah. Head cannon lights drawing blood.
Says the Menite, who would definitely reject a soul cheerleader, but is completely okay with a cheerleading gun.
Make a detection roll, please, Constantine.
Detection roll, hold on.
Yes. You notice that Lady Gravine was watching you with interest.
What?
She was watching you with interest when you just killed that man.
Okay.
Adele is going to quit. I guess some courses.
Yeah, reload.
Yeah. Adele can't do anything. It's not his turn.
He can't quit.
Get stitches.
He cannot.
Okay.
It is Balasar's turn, and Balasar is going to attempt to kill this last dude. He's getting pretty sick of these motherfucking cultists in this motherfucking base.
Bathhouse. Out of character, has Gravine actually attacked at all for this combat?
She has not.
Yeah, I didn't think she was.
The man dies.
It's a lot.
Derek Page says, busted. Busted for what, though?
For enjoying the death of innocent Theramites?
Who knows? Anyway, combat is finished.
They're not innocent.
Combat is finished.
Adele is going to quip. I guess some causes are worth dying for.
Wow, you really are that kind of guy, huh? So Constantine, you have walked into what looks like a food preparation area. So there's a table where people would have been eating, sorry, not eating, but preparing food. There's an oven and a stove in one corner, sacks of food, stuff like that.
Some people, I imagine, had their last meal there.
Yep. There is a pot of something bubbling on the stove, actually.
Can I go and have a smoke?
Yep. Smells like fish stew.
Fish stew.
Like a chowder. Chowder.
Chowder.
Chowder.
Chowder. Clam chowder.
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 Yeah. Some sort of chowder. And hunks of bread lay across the table.
Okay, let's go and see what's in here.
This looks like a writing desk and a bedroom.
Let's go and have a look what's written on the desk.
There are no papers on the desk.
Okay. It's a dead end. It's a dead end? Oh no, it's not a dead end.
No, it is not.
Okay, I'm going to wait here. And say, hey everyone, come look at this.
Everyone comes to look at this.
Adele is going to check the desk and see if it's got a false back,
Okay. That will
which I believe
require
will probably be detection.
It is. Do you want me to do it for you, or are you able to do it?
Yeah, I've got it this time. That's a terrible roll.
You do not find a false back to the desk.
Adele calls over to Constantine and says, "Sir, do you think that there might be something in this desk? Maybe a false bottom, false back? I can't find anything, but you're much more adept than I am."
Oh, let me have a look.
Translation. He has boosted detection rolls. Constantine, looking at the desk.
So I have to look.
Constantine.
Go on.
Sorry, I thought you were trying to talk. No?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, looking at the desk, you spot nothing untoward about it. You do, however, notice a small metal bin/bucket underneath it that is full of ash and burnt pieces of paper.
Can I have a closer look at that?
Of course you can. So it's still warm/hot to the touch. You ascertain that the documents contained within were burnt once they learnt of your entrance to their lair, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Speed burner stoves. Just like I ran. Nothing. Don't worry.
Adele looks over his shoulder to Gravine and says, "Is there anything you can do with any of this?"
Well, she says there are some alchemical substances that you can apply to fragments of burnt paper to see if you can recover any writing. But the fragments have to be of at least some semblance of remaining substance. Let me have a look.
And Adele steps aside.
She carefully pulls some of the burnt pieces of paper out and opens up a book that she has and lays these burnt sheets in the book and then closes the book. Anyone doing anything?
I'm going to go through that.
Adele is just studying what she's doing.
What did you say, David?
I'm going to go through that door.
Okay, go through that door.
And very
So
quietly,
there's some stairs
Adele.
going down.
Sorry,
Yep,
you
sca-
first, David.
Yeah, stairs going down.
There's some stairs going down over here.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to move on, press on, or are we waiting?
I say we press on.
Okay.
Pressing on seems fine.
Adele says very quietly to Gravine, I trust that we're proving our worth as allies to you.
She just stares at you with these stunning big blue eyes and perfect features and says, sorry, something was caught in my throat. And she says, you're doing very well.
Adele smiles and inclines his head,
Like a fucking puppy.
and then says, after you, milady.
She says, well, thank you, and goes off downstairs. And then she says, oh, look, this is where we came from.
Do we want to go back and go south from that room? Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Did you understand what they said? That I tried to repeat to you, Lady Gravine.
No. What was it that she said?
And Adele gives a butchered recital of the Protect the Sanctum in Telgesh.
She looks at you inquisitively again and says, no, I don't know what that means.
Oh.
Some foreign language, perhaps?
They yelled it while they were trying to fight us.
Curious. So you're in the table looks like where they ate, and the barrels appear to be marked in Ordic, and they are labelled water.
Mm. Okay. I think we press on. Balasar, go through that tunnel to the south.
Okay. There's a passageway that goes left, and a room in front of me.
Go into the room. Can always come back.
Filled with beds.
Just beds. Nothing else in there.
Look to be beds.
Let's go down the passageway then.
Okay. It's the chasm.
The chasm again.
And there's another bridge, but it's broken.
There's another bridge, but it's broken. Interesting.
Yeah, just here, look.
Can we head down the... Is there anything further down there?
You know, I'm sure we missed a couple of passages.
So heading off down south further, the rocky ledge gets progressively thinner and wetter until it tapers off into nothing.
Well, try going north then.
Okay.
This is where we came in, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
Right. So we can loop back round. Up here. And here. And here. And then over here. And through here.
Adele has become very wide.
It's because it's filled with too much hot air.
Yes, indeed.
We've been through here. haven't we?
Indeed. You've basically been everywhere, guys.
We've done the whole loop.
The only place you didn't go was from this room here. Right, the first room. You didn't go down this path, which just leads you to here, the other side of the broken
Okay,
bridge.
so we cleared out
Yeah, you've cleared the entire thing.
all of the map then.
Yes.
Okay. Right. I suggest that's a job well done then.
Yes, indeed.
I think so. Victory music.
And I am going to leave the epilogue for next session. Because we have hit midnight.
Excellent.
All right. So, and with that, I would like to thank everybody that's watched along and chatted along. Good to have you guys in here, Derek Page and Sagittarius Hero. And thank you very much, Grey Lord Dave, for subscribing today. Yeah, it's been fun having you. So we will be back same time next week, so that's 8 p.m. UK time. We usually put the... Oh my god, I just realised I didn't put last week's. I usually export these to YouTube for people to watch, to catch up. I just realised I hadn't done it for last week. It's been a pretty hectic week for me this week. So I'll try and get both of those up. Oops. And we will catch you all again next week. I'm just going to check to see if there's anyone streaming that we can raid into. I don't know that there is. I don't know that there's anybody doing hobby stuff. If anyone in chat knows anybody that's currently live that we could go into, if you have any friends that are currently streaming, because if not, I will raid us into a hobby painting streamer. I think it's /raid. Right, there we go. So I'm going to raid into a hobby painting streamer because he paints some really, really nice minis. So, yeah, YouTube channel's the same name, mate. LugGod84. Alrighty, so we will catch you next time if you decide to join us again. It's been great having you guys, and see you next week.
Bye.
See you. Thanks for GMing, Tom.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Feel bad when I don't. Just sauce.
It's nice having the commentary from the baby as well.
One second, mate.